when he did everything else. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't keep blaming it on your father and your mother being an addict. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that foundation, that's what I'm trying to say, Tina.
But see, they turn. But my thing is, Irene, too. You ain't gonna be the first, and you ain't gonna be the last. You gotta sometimes let it go. As far as your dad was an addict, he turned his life around. He got married, got a good job, had kids and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
So Darlene always kept a place. I mean, not Darlene. Marsha always kept a place to stay. Had a job, a permanent job. You know what I'm saying? It's addicts that work careers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but most people won't be able to pull that off.
But it's been going on for years already. I know a crackhead that worked a job for over and retired from it. This is done new. It ain't just started with Lil Paul and them or anybody younger. You know what I'm saying? You got functional addicts.
But what about this? What about this? What if he would have had a foundation where there was no drug addiction? Right.
But that's what. But listen. What I'm giving you is an example of people that had a foundation of drug addiction, family members, right?
Yeah, it can happen.
And turn themselves around. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it can happen. But what I do see with our family is that I could see the point where it was broken. So what I have something to compare it to. Okay, so I can look at that situation with our cousin and then our situation. So the reason I'm bringing up the past is to look at if you can go back to where it was started and how it occurred, you can fix the error.
Right, I mean, yeah.
And we don't have to keep making the mistakes. So at the end of the day, like we use in Lil Paul as an example, coming from parents with addicts, he gets it. It's like a race. You getting off to a bad start.
Right.
It's like if you in a race and they put them all at the start line. What if one had to start 10 miles behind everybody? Mm-hmm. They're gonna lose the race. So it just puts you at a weaker position. So at the end of the day, especially me and you, what we are going through, we're the products of a rich lady that lost her riches.
Right.
So we are the victims of that. So so what I would like to do is we got to figure out, because like we got the embezzlement, we got all kind of stuff going on, right? Your situation, employment situations, it's out of our control. But what we can't, the key to this, and see, this is the thing, Nettie didn't know no better, right?
Right.
But I can look back and I can say this because Nettie sold the houses first.
Right.
That was a mistake. That was the mistake right there. Not having that backup, right? What if just one of the houses would have been kept? You see the head start we would have had? Because we would have had property. But Nettie didn't know. See, when she sold the houses, she didn't know she was losing the restaurant.
Right.
She didn't plan for that. But it is a bad idea and a bad accounting move to not have a house.
Right.
And but she looking at it like, well, hey, I got a house upstairs from the restaurant.
Yeah, and so she, I asked her about that too, but she said, when James got, since he did all the maintenance and the plumbing work, or whatever, took care of the house, but he went no longer alive. That's how she looked at it. Yeah.
She did it because she also wasn't thinking about our future.
Right.
Because she's not our mother. She's our grandmother.
Right.
So see, a mother, you got to put that back on Nancy, because a mother is supposed to be the one to think about where her children are going to live if she die, right? So that's the consequence of that. She's not really thinking about us in a mother way because she's not our mother. That's why it happened. But I see I mean, it's just going to continue. I mean, we just got to focus on increasing income. So I feel like this, our income is too low and we have too low in property, right? And that problem needs to be fixed before we die. Cause see, we're gonna go in our elderly years and stuff. And so you know, when you got family members, you know, these young people that want to work and want to support us, let's utilize that as a building stone. You see what I mean? Like Isaiah, if we said right now, Isaiah, we want to use your name and income to get a house in the Lou, right? He'd just say, okay. Right? So, you know, we need to be more of a unity. We're real separated.
Right.
And we are separated in physical space too, Tina.
Right, like most families.
Yeah. But I'm seeing other families do something a little different with it. Right? So, but those families, they don't vape, smoke, use drugs. Right? They have strengths that you need to, you know, build yourself up.
Every time a vape, smoke, use drugs. And they probably vape already. I just don't know.
No. Darius them, Gerald, them kids, they don't do that.
Okay.
Back in the day, they used to.
Right.
But you know, smoke cigarettes. I know back in the day, Darius used to smoke cigarettes, but they actually do not. There are families of Pastor Dan them. Right?
Yeah, I know one dude that got 40 pieces of property. He just bought his 40th piece, right?
Yeah, it's people remember.
But he smoked weed and vape.
Yeah, but it's rare that people are gonna be able to do that and be able to come up. It's rare.
Yeah, I know a lot of people like that. They got property and stuff already, and vape and smoke already.
I don't. You know them, but I don't. Everybody I know that's doing and implementing that in their family is going down.
Yeah.
And I'm one of the families that's in that situation because I have out of 3 males, only one of them is on the road to not smoking and being a drug abuser. You know what I mean? And so,
yeah, just like Emily, she is a meth head. She been one for years. Well, she got property.
Yeah, but see, in those families, a lot of times, if you look back in their roots, they got off to a good start too. Like she might have had a business owner in her family that didn't go into bankruptcy. See, I don't know all of her background.
No, she had a couple lawsuits. She sued Boy.
You should lawsuits help.
And then she had a lawsuit with Boy. And
yeah.
Then she had,
see, that's a jump start.
And then she had
lawsuits are jump starts to your financial security. But I don't. We shouldn't be predicting that we're gonna do better financially smoking and vaping. That stuff is a waste of money, and it's not being frugal.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I don't smoke weed or I don't vape, but I'm just saying. And I know I know business on like what Lloyd Lane, who my previous on that been in 4th generation.
Yeah, it's a waste of money. If you add up all the money that's going into the tobacco factory, the dispensaries for the marijuana, if you just add up the dollars, it's a waste of money. It's not being frugal.
But a lot of people, like I said, Larry, the old man Lloyd Lane, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's 7 years old. He vape. He don't smoke weed, but he vape, right?
Mm-hmm.
Frank, my old boss, Frank is Lloyd Lane. He just retired. He don't smoke weed. He hears it every now and then, but he ain't no vape smoker, whatever. He's more, he's like beer stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But his Cam, she vapes like mad. Now that's one of the first, she had one of the big vapes.
Mm-hmm.
She vapes like mad, and she smoked hella weed. For the girlfriend,
Hello to I'm doing one of the phone chronicles, y'all. Hello to Mochika. And thank you so much for the likes. And welcome back, Leonard Wilson. Welcome back. Leonard Wilson says, hello, my dear friend. Good to see you once again. Thank you, Leonard.
They smoke weed, but they ain't to me, but like Zach, he a big ass weed smoker.
Yeah, I just, for our family, it just won't work. It's a waste of money. And it's a waste of money. And so I've been able to see the result of the losses that's came in just my immediate family up here due to two people. That's what if all, where would we be if all three was doing what Isaiah is doing? Right, instead of people running off being druggies and vapors, right? So I'm saying that the addiction causes problems, and it in our situation with this lead to property ownership. It's just a waste. It keeps them unemployed. So the two that I have, your nephews that are on that road, they can't even keep a job because of it. So they need to be off of it. It's causing a problem because not everybody can. Yeah, not all addicts can be functional. Right. So we can't go off what other people doing. What happens in our family? So within our family, saving money. You brought this up years ago. Budgeting, spending, right? I learned a lot of financial tips from you, Tiana.
Yeah, you know, just a weed smoker. She a big weed smoker.
And it I can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet she is. Yeah, and that causes a problem. That when she came up here, that would affect the type of role model she was able to be to Daniel. She didn't.
You know, Bert was a drinker too.
Yeah, but that affects the family. Jackie was not a good role model for Daniel. I mean, what did we get? We was in a motel room on a staycation, and we had to listen to her talk about Nancy like a dog and drink. We watched her drink all night.
There's a lot of people that smoke around.
I get it, Tina. That's not what I'm trying to say. I don't care what they do. I'm saying how it affects this family.
Right.
So Jackie drinking all night and talking shit about Nancy and not going to church with Daniel and
you know Rochelle drink? You know Rochelle smoke weed?
No, I don't know what Rochelle does. I never know that Rochelle smoking
You
anything.
never know that? You ain't know that?
Well, if Rochelle do, she don't do it that often. She ain't no Jackie. She's not a Jackie. I don't have any problems with Rochelle.
Yeah, I ain't got a problem with it.
Yeah. It ain't building the family up. So I can't say where Jackie's weed addiction benefited me and Daniel when she came here. You know, she set an example of addiction. That's what she did in front of Daniel. She asked me if I wanted some of the bottle. I told her no. Right. But the children need more than just me. She set a bad example. What if me and her are both saying no? What if no bottle exists at all? Daniel really looked it up to her. Maybe he'd be working. You just never know who will change people's life. So it ain't bringing more money in the family. It's just not. Addiction ain't doing nothing but bringing curses in the family, depression. It's a waste of money too. Jackie don't own no house no more neither.
Well, she sold the house.
Yeah, she sold it, but she ain't bought another one. Smoking weed ain't helping her get another one.
Yeah, I don't think she would have sold it. She ain't want another one. She don't need one.
We do need one. Because the rent is going up so high.
Yeah, but you know, once you get up in age, what she had now, her rent ain't that much. You got to worry about the motherfucking property tax now, shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Like where Miss Starks said, where Miss Starks was at. She sold her house. And that price was $9,000 a year.
Right.
You mean tell me?
Thank you for listening to the Phone Chronicle, y'all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the likes. My voice is still recovering, y'all.
Within 15 years, and I still got to pay every year property tax and all the other expenses.
Yeah, I get it.
I get what you're saying, though. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely get what you're saying.
Yeah. I'm just seeing the result, and to me, our result ain't that bad. We do got something to work with. I mean, as of right now, I'm still stable. You still stable. We still fighting the war, but it's just some areas we got to improve on. And until we start doing it in a unity fashion, you know, because I'm watching how these families do it, boy. They doing it a little different than me and you are.
I was at Christy, right? I told her some years ago we were gonna get a house, right? But she wanted to get a house in her family.
Yes, Leonard, this is my sister. Leonard Wilson family, y'all. You know who on the phone. Yes, this is my sister. I was going to do this other video on how to make it in the United States or how to survive in the United States. And I'm still going to do that. But I ended up on this Phone Chronicle with my little sister. And we're talking about finances, y'all.
You know, blah, blah, etc., right?
Mm-hmm.
And I told her, I said, shit, I wouldn't move from where you at either. Because you can't be where you at, right?
Right.
Even though you don't own it, you can't beat where you at. Because she been staying in the same house for 7 years, $800, where the rent was $750. He went up to $50, $800.
This was before Christina passed?
No, not Christina, Christy. My friend Christy.
Oh, your friend. Okay. I'm sorry.
The Leo. That motherfucker, she got a you know, it's a little house. It's in Belfast, right?
Mm-hmm.
She got 3 bedrooms, a full basement that's finished. The rooms ain't all that big, but she got living room, bedroom, kitchen.
It's hard with my sister, y'all, because it's hard to get her on focus. I'm trying to get her on focus of what we can do in our family. And she's using other people as an example, but I'm trying to get her on focus, y'all.
But I told her some shit I wouldn't move either.
Please like, share, and subscribe.
Because you go somewhere else trying to buy.
Voice is still recovering, y'all.
You can live comfortably where you at. If
right.
You went up in 8 years, $800, you cannot beat that.
Okay, so how do we get to that point? Because she's done it. Right? So what do we do to get to the point she's at?
What you mean?
We as a family, how do we get?
She don't own no house though.
You don't have to own to be stable.
Yeah, I'm just saying she don't own no house.
Yeah, but she's stable. Right? At this point, she's not at risk of losing anything, right?
No, she's like nasty. She's the same ever.
Yeah, so what do we do and how can we better ourselves to get to that point where Christy's at? Because Christy good. Right. So
we gotta have that Nancy and save like man.
Right, but you gotta have something to save too.
Yeah,
I mean, I just got robbed like a mad dog. So what do I do? What advice do you give me? I paid thousands and thousands of dollars on my bill, and they just robbed all my shit like I ain't paid it. So what do I do?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. See,
there's so many scam orders out here.
Yeah, but the scam is working. It's actually working. As of right now, I mean, I got the police reports in and stuff, but the police can't go break the bitch neck and say, give Irene and the kids their motherfucking money back. Don't work like that. I mean, the thing with it happening is I don't have the backup savings to I don't know. I'm not repaying it. I'm risking everything I got. I'm not repaying it. The lady wanna just act like those monies don't exist and want us to repay it. We not doing that. That's like a form of blackmail.
Right.
Like to close your court matter, just repay it again and act like what you paid was some kind of church charity donation to her. I'm not doing that.
How many y'all paying?
Huh?
What was y'all paying? Through the bank or something?
No, I was paying her, giving her money orders. She robbed the money orders. The electronic payments that I paid are on the account. But the money orders, she ran off with those.
You got the receipts there, right?
Yeah, I gave all that to the lawyer.
Right.
And the ledger. I just got another ledger from her. That's why I can't walk in there and tell her you robbed me.
Right.
I can't make it a because I'm at the weaker end, you know, because
right.
if I do that, they just win because they just trespass you. I'm violent. This person got to leave my property. You know what I mean? They can play it like that. So I'm just playing it cool.
Right, right.
But it don't stop the court dates. She's still acting like it never happened. The payments didn't happen. I got my receipts. I'm good. You see what I'm saying?
Crazy.
But you still don't know which way it's gonna go. What if you, girl, he ready to go do some St. Louis shit.
You say what?
He ready to do some St. Louis shit. And I told him that's not the way to do things. You can't do that. He's an Aries. He got an anger problem. He said, but that's what you do. Shit, let's go in there and beat their ass. I said, Isaiah, that's unprofessional, honey. He said, it's unprofessional to steal from me. I said, yeah, it is, especially in a business world. Isaiah basically, like, he could handle it if somebody just walked up to him at the bus stop and just took his backpack and took his shit, right? But Isaiah's like, that's unprofessional. There are workers that did that. And I get that. It does feel worse. It feels worse than an outside robbery.
Right.
It's not like when somebody take your purse and you out to eat. I mean, you kind of expect it, right? But you don't expect people that you're doing business with to treat you that way. It is unprofessional.
Right.
But I told them that's what they want you to do too. See, I said she's done this before, and she's expecting us to act like niggas, and you just can't handle it that way. It will not fix the problem. It will just create another problem for us. Now we've been embezzled. Now we got a criminal case. But I told him, calm down. He's calm now because I put a criminal case on her. So see, as they filing on me with the lie, I'm filing on them too. So now she has a criminal case pending for embezzlement. I done put her in the policing system. I got to upload my evidence within 30 days. So, and I'm being, for instance, like, I get people take money at work and stuff. It's fine, right? My pet peeve with it is she want me to repay it. And that's where I'm stubborn at. You put it back. You the one took it. So if you stole it from a business, you put it back on my account. But what happens in cases like this, she's taking too much, right? She's taking so much that she probably don't have it to put back. I seen her at the grocery store with her little kids. They got on their little patent leather shoes and perfectly creased shorts and hair looking all good. I mean, she putting the money to good use, taking care of kids, but it's just a wrong thing to do.
Right.
But see, Isaiah, he was kind of judgmental because of what he see his brothers go through. And I told Isaiah, I said, before you leave this earth, you're going to have a legal matter, right? And Isaiah said, but I don't commit crimes, mama. I said, you don't have to commit a crime to have a legal matter. But before you leave this earth, there's going to be a legal matter that you have to handle, whether you a criminal or not. And that's his karma. And right within months of me telling Isaiah that, now he got a legal matter. Because I put him on my lease. See what I mean? So when they, it's a legal matter for him as well. So I'm learning a lot about the law. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just stacking the money up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I got thousands of dollars stacked because of this. But I got to hold it because to prevent, being removed, you still have to, because they embezzled that part, but then stop taking your money, right? Mm-hmm. And like I said, that's because I consistently wanted receipts. She wanted to take the money orders that I have, and she don't want to sign them, saying she received them. So that's why she stopped taking them. And that particular money order is still written out to them. That's evidence as well. So my lawyer is using that as evidence too. So, but I don't know. I mean, it's still, I don't know how it's gonna turn out. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody said I'm gonna lose anything. It ain't came down to that. You know what I mean? But they got my ledger looking real bad. Real bad. I would never allow myself to get that far behind. One of the workers alerted me onto it through his eyes and body language before he left, but he skipped out the job because he knew what was happening, but he made sure before he left, he kind of clued me in. He was a white gay man. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he kind of, he talked to me without talking. And that's when I started getting but your nephews was like, Mom, you just paranoid. Because I told him, I said, we're being robbed. So I got to go meet with the lawyer again tomorrow and get ready to fight it in court next week. We'll see how it goes. I do realize you got to save. You know what I mean? But see, the thing is, if we was to like try to get us a little house or something, Tina, or invest in properties, I'm not indebted. I'm not in debt. I don't owe no credit cards, no vehicle payments. I'm not indebted. Everything in my house, I own it. Every piece of furniture, I don't owe no payments. Everything in this room right now, I got $1,000 leather recliner, $2,000 beds, $5,000 artwork. I own it.
Right.
I don't owe no money. I'm real old school. My drawers is paid off. I will buy me 6 pair of underwear that I have for the week, right? I'm not addicted to clothes. I don't owe no credit cards on no coats or clothes. If I buy a $200 coat, I just go buy it.
Right.
My shoes are paid off. I owe nobody. Okay, so and I did that on purpose. Strategic. So you know what Warren, what's his name? Warren Bullock or whatever. He developed his millions in his 50s. He became a millionaire starting in his 50s. He started from scratch right there. So, I mean, and you in the same situation, you don't owe a bunch of people. You ain't got, I mean, you got your medical bill. I remember you telling me about that, but that's a normal bill. If you had a piece of property, you could easily pay off a $7,000 medical bill. That's not $100,000 bill. You know what I mean? So that's within reason. So yeah, but I think I want to figure out what kind of like we could do some like get into some kind of online. Yeah, Warren Buffett. I meant Warren Buffett. Tina. Thank you, Leonard Wilson. It's Warren Buffett. Yeah, thank you for that. What I call him, Warren Bullock. I'm so damn ghetto and country. I said Warren Bullock. Thank you, Leonard Wilson, for being so professional here. Yeah, Warren Buffett is his name.
Warren Buffett, yeah.
Yeah. And shoot, what was that? Sean brought that to my attention. I was talking to Sean on the phone one day, some years ago. And he was like, Irene, Warren Buffett, he developed all his millions in his 50s and later. I think we need some kind of business, like, and see, now you can start these online businesses. These online businesses is really cracking.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and then a lot of people, they do these at-home jobs. You got more of that going on. What they call it, telejobs.
Yeah.
So and see, people do these at-home jobs and they work outside the home too.
Yeah, that's what Keisha's daughter does. She does strictly at-home job.
Okay. And what kind of companies does she go through to do that?
She with some kind of insurance company or whatever. Some kind of. She's been doing that for a while too. It's been over 3 years, I know.
So Leonard says, yeah, you must have thought he was married to Sandra Bullock, right?
I want to say some kind of insurance claim. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny, Leonard. Yeah, it's Buffett, Warren Buffett. Yeah, you're right. You're a financial person, Leonard.
Let me call you back, Irene. I'm sure.
Okay, no problem. Bye-bye. Yeah, see, the thing is with my little sister, we can never get anywhere promoting evil, right? So it brings a certain kind of karma on your family as well. So we want to speak against addiction. If we don't want to use people that are addicts, that are what you call functional or making income, because you know the truth. There's no such thing as a functional addict. Not for real. Even if the person that's addicted has the proper income, the difference is those addicts, they're able to support their addiction, but they still have problems, divorces, pending charges, sometimes criminal charges. There's a lot of stuff that goes on with this stuff. And actually, I'm going to do what I said I was going to do originally. Remember, I said that I was going to start a video about how do we make it here and what I mean by make it in the United States. So this will be my first video on that. Okay, so how do we make it here? Which means make it in the United States. One of the ways we make it in the United States is to recognize that we live in a country where you have to qualify for things. And if you are unable to qualify for things, you will be in a poverty or to Skid Row type of situation. And how do we make it here? Understanding that this is the country for the homeless. So if you want to be at risk of, be involved in homelessness, or if you are in denial that in this country, in the United States, you can be homeless at any point, even if you own, in some cases, if you don't understand that, you won't make the United States. How do you make it here? The United States is a war zone. It's no different than Afghanistan. The only difference is you don't hear the shooting around you, but some people do. If they're in certain areas and in certain hoods, they will hear the shooting. Oh, Natalie, welcome here. Leonard's here too, Natalie, dear heart. We got the gentleman, Leonard Wilson, here. So I started out earlier in this live, Natalie, y'all, with oh, and happy Thursday to you too as well, Natalie. I started out in this live with the phone chronicle with my sister. She's going through transitions in her life. Thank you for the pretty peach hearts, Natalie. My sister's going through transitions in her life. And of course, I'm still dealing with the embezzlement, right? You know, thousands and thousands of dollars has been embezzled from me. And I guess it's still better to have paid your bill than not to have paid it. I guess if you're looking at it from a court matter, it's better to have paid it if you have your receipts. But originally I was going to do a video, how do we make it here, which means how do we make it in the United States? So I'll just make this the first video about that. So the thing with my little sister, I was reminding her of how we entered into low income or poverty. It begins when my grandmother loses her restaurant, right? So my grandmother went bankrupt. So right there is where it all begins. When it happened, I moved out of state. So I had some kind of buffer, right? But my little sister ended up, as a result of the bankruptcy and my grandmother losing her restaurant, she ended up in a little hood, not a project, but you know, she ended up in St. Louis, Missouri on Whittier in the hood. So what I would like to do in my family is strengthen the family, right? And to be quite frank, it will be hard to do that without a moral compass and without a moral foundation. So if you go back into the beginning of the live, my sister and I will struggle. She's still acting like you can be a functional smoker or addict or a functional vapor, and it just won't work. I mean, look at the situation that I dealing with my own sons, with Elijah and Daniel. Them vaping and being regular blunt smokers or pill poppers or shroom smokers, whatever they want to be on, it does not make the family more stable and richer. Okay, it just doesn't do that. Leonard Wilson says, Leonard Wilson says, hello, Miss Natalie. You've been sleeping on us, laugh out loud. That's cute. She's always here and there. The thing with my viewers and subscribers is, and I'm not trying to brag, but my viewers and subscribers have lives, y'all. They're not bums. And they have jobs and businesses, and they're in school, and they're all different ages. So most of my viewers and subscribers will usually be 25 and older. I have a various um, age group. And that's because my analytics will show that. So if you go into the YouTube analytics, it will give me a percent of how many people are 15 to 25 watching. It'll give me a percent of people that's over 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. It just gives you a range of the percent of the age categories. So and I can tell by how people jump on here and stuff. Oh, Leonard. Okay, I read your comment where you gave me a suggestion. Thank you for that. You gave me a suggestion about giving people an advance notice so that there'll be more people on the live. So this is the thing with lives. View it just as another video. Okay, like right now, it may show only 1 to 10 people is in my live. But when the live ends, you may see 50 views, right? So with the live, just view it as a video. Don't really focus on how many people are in here. Okay, it's just another video that will get views. So I think that live that you had posted that comment on, giving me the suggestion, and thank you for that. I think I got almost 200 views, because most of my viewers, they're like right now, it's 9:54 p.m. So they're either in bed or at work. So what happens is when I do this live, most of my viewers and subscribers will watch this live at 6 a.m. in the morning, or they'll get up in the middle of the night and watch it at midnight or 2 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, but and I used to do that. I've done that before, gave an advance warning that I'm going to do a live, and I was not very successful at that. And so my viewers get real mad. My viewers, if I say I'm going to do a video by 6 in the morning and don't do it, they will give me a consequence for doing that. My viewers don't like to be lied to. I don't know if I have a lot of empaths and normals and a few narcissistic people, but I will get an instant result. And I'm going to tell you what the result is. I've done it before where I said, okay, I'm going to be on by 6 in the morning. And I didn't do it because I wasn't able to do it. The next live I did, only 5 people showed up. They was real mad at me. I don't know if YouTube gets mad when I do it. YouTube is listening to it. So if right now I say I'm going to do a live by 6 a.m. and don't do it, maybe YouTube makes it where my next live, they don't put me in the algorithm as much. I don't know. Natalie says, no, Leonard says to Natalie, Leonard says that Natalie, I understand to get more of it, but too much to be done while I'm still here on this earth. Natalie says, I love this topic. Thank you, Natalie. Oh, if you love this topic, guess what I'm going to be doing too, Natalie? I'm going to be doing some live videos and giving you some information that was given to me from attorneys. These are seasoned, long-term attorneys. One of them specializes in embezzlement and theft, meaning we're the victims. We're not the embezzler and the thief. And then another one specializes in like land tenant law. I've talked to various attorneys about different things. And so I'm going to be sharing what I've learned. And so, on this channel, I'm very practical. I talk about narcissism, but I kind of mix it up on here. We need to know about all aspects of life. And so, unfortunately, with my little sister, I love my little sister, but morality we're low on morality. See, when we're having a conversation about business, and I'm going to review this video once or twice. So when I review this video, I'm going to be able to hear my little sister saying that how people can be functional addicts. And it's not working in our family. We're trying that, and Elijah and Daniel, have suffered from that road. And there's no employment coming out of it. There's no stability coming out of it. Nobody's getting cleaner coming out of it. And I mean cleaner just as, or your teeth getting cleaner. Do you smell right? Nobody's getting any cleaner. Nobody's home gets any cleaner. It's just not working. Nobody's getting less depressed or stressed out because people vape and use marijuana. This is a no drug zone in my house. I talked about this before. I run this house just like a decent sobriety house. And hold on one second. Let me get this charger, y'all, because it says it's at 5%. So hold on, I'm plugging this in now. Yeah, we're not getting any richer. So I'm talking about getting more businesses, and let's see if we could buy us a little tiny house or something. And my little sister's talking about how some people are functional addicts. And I don't know what she's going through. I don't know. I thought she stopped smoking cigarettes. And I think she has. My little sister used to smoke cigarettes, and I think she stopped. But the thing is, drug addicts should not be our role models, right? And look how much richer they could be if they were not vaping and smoking. And see, we have not seen their full outcome. Just because they own property now and they're on meth, blunts, and alcohol and heroin, whatever they're on, that doesn't mean they're still going to own that property 2 years from now. Natalie says, Leonard, I knew someone like that. His body eventually betrayed him, so be careful. Leonard Wilson says, yeah, no one wants to be lied to. Let me go back into the beginning of this. Okay, so Leonard earlier said, hello, my dear friend. Good to see you once again. Nice to have you here, Leonard Wilson, once again. Leonard Wilson says, I'm still here. I'm just listening. Leonard Wilson said, is this your sister you're speaking with? I said, yes. So Leonard Wilson said, Kay. Natalie comes in and she says, happy Thursday from Florida. Thank you so much for that, Natalie. And then Leonard Wilson says, laugh out loud. Oh, you got me on addicted too close. Laugh out loud. So Leonard Wilson, what does that mean? Like, got you on addiction too close. So Leonard Wilson, are you saying you are addicted or had an addiction? Can you please explain that if you don't mind? Because you said laugh out loud. Oh, you got me on addicted too close. So does that mean that subject matter was kind of touchy? Just explain that, Leonard Wilson, if you don't mind. And then Leonard Wilson corrected me because I meant to say Warren Buffett. Okay. And then, and let me see. Leonard Wilson says, yeah, hold on. Leonard Wilson, you must have thought he was married to Sandra Bullock, right? Laugh out loud. That's cute. Thank you, Leonard. Then Natalie says, putting one's pride aside and doing research for different businesses to start. Thank you so much, Natalie, for that suggestion. That's a really good story. You're right about that. I'm in total disagreement with that. I'm in total agreement with that. Agreement, not disagreement. I apologize for that, Natalie. So, and I'm going to read this comment again. Natalie, says putting one's pride aside and doing research for different businesses to start. Okay. And then after that, Natalie has 4 peach hearts. I love her online writing, so pretty always. And then okay, Leonard Wilson says, "Hello, Miss Natalie. You've been sleeping on us." Very cute. And Natalie, she's here when she can be. She's here pretty often. Okay. Remember, my viewers and subscribers have other obligations in their lives. And that's one of the reasons I don't really always put the camera on, right? I like this channel because on my lives, you could be cleaning your house, mowing your grass. You could be on your way to work. You could be logging in at your at-home job. And if you're not on a Zoom, you're playing me in the background. Please take notes on these lives. Note taking will help you out a lot, especially when I'm giving suggestions. So like on this live, if you wanted to take notes about getting online to start businesses, remember this is a channel where we all give our insight. The insight just doesn't come from me. That's why I named it Advanced Insight Channel. Originally, my channel name was just Advanced Insight. And later in the years, I named my channel Advanced Insight Channel as I gained more subscribers. I was kind of insecure, y'all. When I had like 80 subscribers, I just called it Advanced Insight. Is it a channel yet? I felt like it was more of a channel when I was at least able to earn and attain 500 subscribers. So at that point, right around 400 or 500 subscribers, I think I named it a channel. Okay. Not that it wasn't a channel with 80 people, but you know, people judge you. They look at your subscriber count. She got 80 people. What you call it, a channel? You know, people laugh at you, y'all. They do. And it's okay. I used to get comments from trolls. They used to tell me to shut up, mind my business, or I should stop talking. You're still at 80 subscribers. I used to get, you know, I just didn't give up. I focused more on the people that came here and said, when is your next video? I like that video. I learned from that. I just focused on those people. I never focused on the trolls. And let me see. Natalie did the beautiful peach hearts. So then Leonard Wilson says, "Hello, Miss Natalie. You've been sleeping on us." Okay. And Natalie's here enough. Okay. So she's not sleeping that hard on us. Okay. Because she's here right now. Leonard Wilson says, "Traditional curses are real and someone has to break it for the generations to come out of it." Yes, I agree with that, Leonard Wilson. Natalie says, "At Leonard, I know I really have been sleeping." That's cute. They play around. I love that in the chats. Leonard Wilson says, "If you ever want success, you have to deny yourself your wants and put it into your business." Yeah, so he's saying, yeah, I think he means deny your wants and focus on your business is what Leonard's saying. Okay, Leonard says they're normal. They sleep and get up. And not us, we're vampires. That's cute. Yep. I'm a vampire too here. Because I have to remember in another state, it's like midnight, right? So, and I'm going to be up at midnight. Leonard Wilson says, "At Natalie, I understand I need to get more of it, but too much to be done while I'm still here on earth." So they're talking about sleep. So Natalie says, "I love this topic." Thank you for saying that, Natalie. And Leonard Wilson, thank you for your suggestions and comments and stuff. Leonard Wilson says, "Yeah, no one wants to be lied to." Natalie says, "At Leonard, I knew someone like that. His body eventually betrayed him, so be careful." Natalie says, "We were talking about sleep." Natalie does the laughing, crying faces. Real cute. Leonard says, "The addiction I was talking about was clothes. You were talking about addictions." Oh, the clothes. Okay. So Leonard, you like the dress. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just best for the stuff to be paid off. And the thing with dressing, what I'm learning it's okay to have a big wardrobe. Just make sure you know how to rotate your clothes. So, like, if you got 20 pair of pants, what I do is I pull from the top. Then when I wear those pants, I put them at the bottom. And then I just keep pulling from the top. So I'm rotating the clothes. The danger with having a lot of clothes or being addicted to clothes is having 200 garments and you only wear 10 of those garments. So at that point, you're really hoarding the clothes because you're not wearing the stuff. So that's the danger in that. So what I focus on when I learned the rotation system, then and then you can have with the rotation system, what I do is I have my faves, and those can be the 10 items that you just keep to the side that can be even be brand new that you only wear on special occasions. So yeah, Leonard likes to dress, nothing wrong with that. His stuff is paid off. So he's a good dresser. So Natalie says, I've been learning how to make soap and I feel like a scientist. Oh, congratulations, Natalie. Very proud of you on that. I wish I knew how to make soap. I wish I knew. You should sell that and put it online. Put your soap online. I would buy some soap from you. I sure would, Natalie. So Leonard Wilson says, the night we met you, we had a troll with hairy palms and hairy feet, talking silly, laugh out loud. Yeah, we did have a troll. And then Natalie says a business idea. Absolutely. And she does the light bulb. So yeah, we just gotta and I'll come back on here. I do these screenshots of certain things that I come across. And hold on one second. Let me check the comments again. Hold on one second. My little sister, she's sweet in her own way. And we've came a long way in our sibling relationship. But one of the things she does, she stays very focused on other people's lives. And it keeps you distracted on other people's lives, like her friend Christy. You know, my little sister gives good business advice. You know, she was telling her friend Christy um that she has a good deal. She's in a good neighborhood, big house, $800 rent, and Christy's not having a problem paying that, right? However, the thing with that type of outlook or perception of her friend's situation is, how does my little sister get in that same situation or better? So that's fine. Christy has that. Her friend Christy that she's friends with. Not our cousin Christy, her friend Christy. Okay, we have a cousin Christy, but we're not talking about her. So you know, with my little sister, it would be very hard to attain a business, you know, because she's focused on, well, these people, they can be in business and they're on drugs. Okay, so what's the answer? Because my sister and I, we're not on drugs. So what are you saying, sis? Are you saying we should start smoking the pipe today? Should we be the drug addict business owners? Because this shit wouldn't work for me. I'm not going to be a good drug addict business owner. I'm just not going to be able to do it. So, I mean, we could try it. We could put me on it. And I promise you the cash register will be empty at the end of the night. Because I know that if I was a drug addict, I'm a drug addict. If I chose that life, I got to wipe out the cash register. Right? Because I need drugs. That's why I don't get on the shit in the first place. Okay. So the thing with my sister is she wouldn't stay on topic long enough for us to get anything done. But you know, she has goals. I mean, I think my sister, um, I like her goals, but the problem with the goals is, will how many of the goals will we be able to meet, right? That's the problem. Hold on, I'm checking the comments again. How many of the goals will we be able to meet? Hold on, yeah, hold on. I love this chat. Thank you so much for the likes, y'all. Hold on 1 second, y'all. I'm checking the chat. Okay, so Leonard says, so this, oh, well, hold on. Okay, Natalie says, a business idea. Leonard brings up that crazy troll we had in here. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, because I snapped that day. I sure did. Came back here fucking with me neither. Troll left me to fuck alone. That troll think I'm a troll now. So let me see. It's 109 my time. Oh, so you're 3 hours ahead, Leonard Wilson. So Leonard Wilson says, do their paid off. I had 3 closets just with clothes to add demonstration. Um, but there's nothing wrong with spoiling. So especially when you take care of your bills and your responsible things. Yeah, I agree with that, Leonard Wilson. So Leonard Wilson says, so this is what I do if I wear something right. So when I take them off, I put it on the left side until I come back to that outfit. When I go to another closet, do the same thing. Yeah, that's the way to do it. That's the rotation system I'm referring to. You can do it from a closet, a bin. I do it from both drawers. Yeah, but I'm kind of the same. I go like in my closet, everything's from left to right. All sweaters are in this section, so I just swap it. It's kind of hard to explain. I would have to do a little video on that. But yeah, just rotate it. So Natalie says your sister isn't wrong. So many owners, etc., are dependent on vices, but I'm not sure how knowing that would help both of you advance. Yeah, because we gotta do it. We gotta do it free of vices. I'm trying to talk about building money, and my sister's talking about how it can be successful on dope. It's a useless subject because my sister and I are not on dope. So we really shouldn't care how they're making it on dope. It has nothing to do with us, right? It keeps us off subject, right? And you just won't get any further. My sister, she likes to fantasize and kind of people that are in bad situations. She likes to point out they're good. So she likes to say, hey, well, these people are on drugs, but they're still able to do this, this, and that. You know, but that ain't what's happening in our family. Okay, I got 3 sons, Isaiah, Elijah, and Daniel. Yeah, Isaiah may minimum make 20,000, 35,000, 45,000, however much Isaiah makes. Um, Isaiah averages about at least 30,000. He's a young man. That's pretty good. His job is technically part-time. He works part-time to full-time hours. Um, it's a decent wage, but remember, we live in a very expensive state. So really, for Isaiah, his goal should be to at least get to 60,000, right? Probably a more secure income for the state that we live in would be minimum 60,000 each. That would be a ideal income for Isaiah to make and myself to make separately. 60,000, 60,000 here, that would bring the household income to 120,000. So we got the vapors and the blunt smokers, because we got Elijah and Daniel that's going through that, cutting back on the drug abuse because he has no money to support his drug habit. And sometimes that's good for an addict. It's good to run out of money when you're an addict. Okay. But the thing is, if he can come up on some money, Elijah may smoke, but it's not benefiting our family. Okay. It's just not benefiting our family. And at the end of the day, my family, my sister and I, and my sons and daughters, we're not the addict family where we're able to be functional. So who cares that that family over there is functional addicts? I mean, because what is my sister saying? That once we bring in the big bucks, we can all get on heroin and we'll be cool? Well, what is she really saying? Yeah, Natalie says, I remember from previous lives that you wanted to start a business or you were working on creating it. I can't remember. Yeah, and I am. I still am. But then as I had a desire to endeavor into that, I started being robbed. So now the embezzlement. See what these legal cases do? Now my money's been robbed. So the time I would be spending starting a business, now I'm fighting an embezzlement case. So see how the thieves can cause me harm. Even though my money's been embezzled, I still could lose my case, y'all. You can be robbed and still lose. Because remember, a judge has to determine if you should win or not, right? See? I just don't know, but my little sister, she's dealing with career issues. I'm usually a little bit more stable than my sister. I live out of town. I'm currently on a lease. And I'm not bragging, but I'm not in St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis, Missouri, if you don't come into the game with your family owning a business, you don't have a husband or wife, you don't have stable income, you don't have enough support, you don't have enough options, criminal records matter. So I will usually be a little bit more stable here. Okay. My little sister, we've had a couple of relatives that died that she would have stayed with in the past and roommated with, paying rent. My little sister always paid rent. Like our auntie Lucille passed. They were roommates for many, many years. So that support, my sister has lost that support. But I don't know. I'll just start a business, me and Isaiah. Okay. So that's where I'll start. Isaiah, he's a businessman. So I'll just say, Isaiah, what kind of business we want to start? Like I was telling my sister, these young people in the family, she should have spent more time talking about Isaiah and how, like I told her, Isaiah down for anything. If we wanted to buy a house right now in St. Louis and we say, hey, Isaiah, can we use your corporate job and your income and put it on the application? Isaiah would say, where's the pen, mama? I'm near California, Leonard, not too far from Cali. I'm on the West Coast. So Natalie says, let me see. Yeah, thank you for reminding me of that. Yeah, Natalie, I was, going into the business. I'm still going to do it, but then this embezzlement stuff started. So, I kind of got thrown off. And remember, YouTube is a business as well. This is tax deductible. Okay, so remember, this channel is also a business. Leonard Wilson says, but if a person has no business knowledge on running a business, they're setting themselves up to fail. Yeah, that's true. Then Natalie says, right. So Leonard Wilson says, I got a sister, and every time she calls me, she wants to hear something bad that's going on with me. And I think she does that to make herself feel good about her situation. Yeah, it sounds like your sister's a little toxic. Leonard Wilson says, do you live in Vegas or California? I live near California. So Natalie says something with a low-cost startup. Yeah, and there are businesses that are like that. One of those type of businesses would be the legal plans. So if you want to get into a business where you're selling legal plans, those are low startups that usually are under $200. Natalie says, and that is manageable. Leonard Wilson says at Natalie, he's talking to Natalie, you're right, low-cost startup, which I start with a food truck and grew into a restaurant and several more restaurants after people with no business experience try to open up a restaurant. Yeah, one of my friends, Miss Angel, another narcissistic lady friend, she does pop-ups, and that's the videos I do, y'all. It's just a name. I come up with my own slang and terminology on this channel that you can use as well. I'm also going to be doing a video. I just had a unaware narcissist. His relative died. His mother passed away. I'll be doing some videos about that and giving you the update on that. I've already talked about this gentleman in the comparison of the Wicked episodes and parts that I've done. I think I have a comparison of the Wicked playlist as well, referring to my friend Robert. Okay, so his mother just passed away, and I'm sad about that. They weren't close. His mother was a potential narcissist, so he's not crying and all upset about it. And he's handling it pretty well, but I'll give you some details on how that's working out and the grief process that someone can go through when a narcissist they love passes away. So Leonard Wilson says that's how the devil works. Anytime you want to do something positive, he finds a way to mess it up. Yeah, and we're messing it up too, not just the devil. Leonard Wilson says, trust me, sis, you don't want to start a business with family. Been there, done that. Don't turn out good. I had to end up buying them out. Yep, and so I'm going to listen to Leonard's advice. That's the Lord giving me some advice right now. See, sometimes you got to be a better listener. So I should do, like I said, I could start a business with Isaiah, right? See, it's all about who you want to model, right? And what kind of people you're around. So like my little sister, she's in St. Louis, Missouri, and she sees a lot of functional addicts, right? But I moved those people out of my life. Right now, there's no addict energy in this house. Because I say, no, you can't charge your vape here. See, I supervise. Once I know that you're trying to turn my house into New Jack City, see, I got to dictate that enough. Like my sister said, I dictate stuff, right? And I sure do. I got to dictate it. Because you can't have my damn house. I swear, if I wasn't the type of Negro I was, if you really go through my lives and my videos, I would be like one of the crackheads in New Jack City, and what's his name? Nino Brown, the big drug lord. He probably have a pistol to my head telling me to shut the fuck up and get on your knees, bitch, and suck my dick or something. I don't know what would be happening, but I would be in a real fucked up situation. But I don't allow that shit in my house. So I naturally get rid of the drug energy with boundaries, right? And just being tough. You know, I talked about it when I was dealing with it with Daniel when he relapsed on vape. And he relapsed on vape. That vape fucks Daniel up. He cannot work. He can no longer do regular activities. He no longer can intermingle with his family every day and be successful. He's not focused as much on school. Luckily, he got back on it when the school year was ending. So he still completed the school year. Daniel, he completed his court order. That's out the way. So I'm proud of him for that. But vape and marijuana and blunts and shrooms and pills and liquor does not seem to be getting me, my little sister, Isaiah, Elijah, or Daniel any richer. I mean, because we're not the drug dealers, right? We're not the drug dealers, so it's not getting us any richer. I can't, with morality, I can't sell vape and drugs. I just can't do it. My empathy will not allow me to be a drug dealer. It's just not a career I could get into. Now I could sell like some legal plans or some makeup or some jewelry or some furniture or some homes, some cars, some clothes, some workout equipment. I can sell stuff like that, but I cannot sell you drugs. I can't sell you that. I just can't do it. I just can't destroy people like that. Yeah, so thank you so much for the likes, y'all. So let me see. Yeah, Leonard Wilson, thank you for the advice. So yeah, I agree. I'm not gonna be able to go in business with my sister because she doesn't believe it can really happen for us. For one, she doesn't take me serious. When I'm naming these business ideas, she doesn't take me serious. So Natalie says at Leonard, please, how did you do that without any fear? Any positive words and advice, please? Praying hands. So Leonard, Natalie's asking you for some advice. So Natalie, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. Okay, hold on. Okay, so I just learned how to do this. So Natalie, now type a message because I just added you as a moderator in here. I figured out how to do it. I call you my moderator, but I just gave you the wrench now. I didn't know how to do it before. So if you type a message, I think you're going to, yeah, you have a wrench now. So that wrench means you're the moderator. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So you're a legal moderator under YouTube guidelines. Screenshot that, use that for your records. Put it on your resume. Yep, you can add that on your resume. And you can go back to, you can take it back to this when I first started doing my lives. You can put whatever you want to. You can put the start date, but yeah, just screenshot that and then put that on your resume. I didn't know how to do it before. I've been like watching YouTube videos. I didn't want to mess it up, but you're allowed to do whatever. Like now, since you have the wrench, you can go in and you can do different stuff. You have access to my channel. So you can delete, remove. I would try to avoid deleting the comment because what that does is makes the video have less views. But you can do a lot to the trolls now since you have a wrench. And you can get the trolls in trouble now. So like, because you have the wrench, when you communicate with the troll and type certain things, YouTube processes what you're typing different because you're a moderator. So you're part of the YouTube platform now. So when you have a channel, you're a moderator. You're like a worker for YouTube now. Put your Cash App down there if you want to, Natalie, and you can give me that as well. This year, I am going to be giving some bonuses on some of my videos. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing more of that. I now get Cash Apps here and there. Coffee Black, she Cash Apps me here and there, and I'm so grateful for her. So I'm going to be Cash Apping. So if you want to give me your Cash App, Natalie, you're free to do that. So Leonard Wilson said, I said, New Jack City. Yeah. Yeah. My own sons tried to turn my house into New Jack City. It would have worked if I wasn't from St. Louis, Missouri. For real. If I wouldn't have been raised by narcissistic, mean-ass sociopaths, if I wouldn't have been... Oh, Natalie says you're going to go cry now? Why? Why you say you're going to go cry? Why you say you're going to go cry? Hold on, y'all. Let me check these comments. Hold on, Isaiah's texting me. Hold on, y'all. Let me check these comments as well. I'm getting caught up on the comments. Leonard Wilson, are you interested in being a moderator too? I would like to have some men on my team. And see, when you moderate on this channel, the thing is, if you want to come into the video and not moderate that day, you have an option. So if you say, no, I just want to be a listener today. I had a bad day at work, then it's optional here. I don't make you work or volunteer when you don't want to. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Isaiah's at the door. Hold on 1 second, okay? I'll be right back, y'all. Hold on, y'all. Isaiah just came in. Hold on. Sorry about that, y'all. So, let me see. Thank you so much for waiting, y'all. So, let me check these comments here. Oh, let me tell Isaiah that Natalie said welcome home. Hold on. He'll be up here in just a second, too. So, hold on. Thank you so much for all the likes, y'all, too. That's a lot of likes for this channel. And it keeps me motivated, y'all. You know, it's like the little treat, you know, the big treat, you know. It lets me know that y'all approve of my work. It gives me ideas of areas I need to work on. And yeah, so the likes help. It helps other people see the video too. So that one like allows 10 more people to see it. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Checking more comments. I like to kind of go through this stuff, y'all. Hold on one second. Making sure I didn't miss anybody. Yeah, and sometimes reading a comment twice kind of helps you, or glancing back through it a second time kind of helps you understand things. Hold on one second, y'all. Yep, that's my Cash App, Natalie. $ try today 123. That's surely mine. Yeah, and if you want to keep yours confidential, so yeah, so that's a good way to do it. So what you can do, because a lot of people don't want people knowing their full identity. So if you Cash App me $1, then I'll know your Cash App. So that's an excellent way to do it. So yeah. So thank you so much, Natalie. And remember, moderation, being a moderator, that's on your resume. So you can put it under like volunteer work, other work that you do. You can put it under business endeavors, employment, business endeavors. Yeah, you can list it. It's listed as work. So when you're a moderator, anything, remember this, anything you do on YouTube, whether it be content creation, being an influencer, a YouTuber, a moderator, it puts you in the video and art, and it puts you in the technology line of work. Okay, so you got to remember, when you are doing videos, you're involved with technology. Okay, so remember, what am I using now? What are we both using? As a moderator and as a content creator, and even Leonard Wilson, he's creating content here too. So we are all content creators at this point. So anytime you're involved in any channel, especially lives are not just regular videos. They come with a status. Okay, so you got to look at lives like anything outside of a live, like Facebook. Okay, you can start a Facebook account today and you can start doing Facebook lives. You don't have to earn that. Now with YouTube, if you start a YouTube account today, you can't do lives. You can be on YouTube for 2, 4, 5 years before you can do a live. It just depends on how fast your channel grows. Some people, they can start doing lives on their YouTube channel in a month. Okay. But it just depends on how fast your channel grows. So you're in the field of technology. And so when you're doing moderation work, like you can screenshot, have the wrench. So you have proof that you do moderation here. Okay. And when you enter into the technology world, yes, I've heard about Rumble, Natalie. I don't know what to do on there, but I've heard about Rumble. Patreon, Rumble, stuff like that. So I'm also on Patreon, y'all. I just don't know how to freaking use it. I've started uploading my writings on Patreon. So I do have a Patreon account, and it's under Advanced Insight Podcast or something. I gotta meet with someone like the Small Business Administration and have them help me with certain things because I don't know how that works. But yes, I have heard of Rumble. Okay. Oh, thank you, Natalie. So, okay. So I'm learning too, because Natalie is formally the moderator. She has the wrench. So I'm not just calling her the moderator. Now, since I know how to go in there and give her the wrench, which is what I just did, what she's doing is what a moderator would do. I'm so slow in the head. I'm so freaking slow. I'm so slow. So what Natalie is doing is she's telling y'all to cash at me. So moderators do stuff like that. They suggest that you send me some money. They suggest that you ask certain questions. She knows what to do because she was doing it without the wrench before. So she's already started doing it without the wrench, and now she has the wrench. So she's talking to y'all. She's telling y'all that Natalie says my Cash App is $try today 123. So my moderator saying cash at me. So cash at me. Do what she says. It's no longer just me saying it. Okay. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. Let me tell you a secret of mine. Oh, not Natalie. Isaiah. Natalie says hi. She's my moderator on the channel. Come here and say hi to her. Yeah, I just gave her the wrench today. Isaiah just got home from work.
Hello.
Natalie.
Hello, Natalie.
Yeah, Isaiah says hi, Natalie. Yeah. Yeah, so she's telling everybody to cash app us.
Huh?
So hopefully that'll help us with this embezzlement. I told them we're getting robbed, man.
Fucked up, man.
Yeah, Isaiah said, that's fucked up, man. That is fucked up. Can you close that door, son? I'm going to get your money back, though, son. We're getting our money back.
Good job, Mama.
They either give us our money back or we're going to do it the St. Louis way. We're going to walk up in the motherfucking office, put them niggas in a chokehold. The white man, too. He a nigga, too. Oh, no, shotgun. No. Absolutely not. No shotgun. I don't do shotguns, y'all. I like fight with my hands. It's no fun. A shotgun makes me feel like I can't fight. I like the thrill of roughing you up. Boxing you, slamming your ass to the ground, and then I put my arms in there and say, yay, I won. I like those kind of fights. Or I like to lose a fight. And I say, well, shit, I lost that one. I got pushed down, man. I lost that one. Yeah, I like fights that are not dangerous. I don't want to see nobody hurt. And we're just joking, y'all. These are all laugh out louds. Me and Isaiah, we're not going to do anything to anybody, no matter what they stole. We're not going to do that. But we're going to do it the legal way. I go meet with the lawyer again tomorrow. So we're going to continue to do it that way. Oh, thank you, Leonard Wilson. I'll check the Cash App. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And keep in mind, this channel was never a money motivation channel, right? So you have to remember, I've had this channel for at least 4 to 5 years now, and I did this channel from the heart. It was never anything to do with money. And then on a couple of lives, people started asking for my Cash App. I did this channel from the heart. And I'm not saying someone that makes money is not doing it from the heart, but I was never greedy and wanting to. I came here genuinely to help y'all, myself, and the community. And I think I've done that. I don't think people would stay subscribed if I wasn't doing that. So I did it from the heart. And I believe that because I did it from the heart, the Lord and other people are trying to bless me, and they send me a Cash App here and there. I do work hard here. So there's nothing wrong with taking a Cash App. I mean, I'm doing the work. I'm consistent. I am. I am very consistent. I will give that to my I will give myself credit for my own consistency. Okay. Daniel started a channel, but he stopped uploading because you can't be high and be on your channel. It's not working for him, right? And Daniel gets like over 1,000 views per video. Sure does. I would never do drugs if I had Daniel's channel. And he don't need to do what you call hardcore drugs. He stopped uploading just from getting back on the vape. Just the vape did it. Then everything else goes downhill from there. So that's a business that goes out the window. Because remember, YouTube is a business. Say this. Some of my greatest opportunities and the reason I'm able to get the jobs I get is because of my businesses and my volunteer work. Like my next job opportunity that I get, it will be because of my YouTube channel. It will. Now, listen. Now on my resume, I get to add that I have a moderator. Right? So I have a YouTube channel with the employees now. See? So I can add that to the notes. I have a credible moderator. And so I'm going to be going to a resume specialist, not just a resume writer. I'm going to take it a little higher and go to a resume specialist and a resume creator. Anybody can write your resume. They have templates for that, and you just give me the information, I key it in. But a resume specialist and a resume creator, they're telling you and suggesting to you what to put on there. Okay, so it's at a more of an advanced level when you're doing it that way. Hold on one second. Let me go back through these comments. Hold on, I'm going to read these comments too. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Um, Hold on, I'm reading these comments. Oh, this gets frustrating, y'all. I'm gonna improve and get better devices. I mean, I have several devices that I use now, but here I'll just start from here. I'll read the comments. Let me see. Okay, Natalie says something with the low cost, talking about a business. Natalie says that's manageable. Natalie mentioned you're right, low cost startup. When I started a food truck and grew into a restaurant. Leonard saying this to Natalie. So Leonard Wilson at Natalie. Um, and other people with no business experience try to open a restaurant. Oh, Miss Angel, you know, the lady narcissistic lady friend, Miss Angel, she has pop-ups. So she has a food business and she's in the major city and she has her food pop-up. So she cooks her own food. She has she goes out to the streets, to the sidewalk, she goes to events, she has her own table. And she does that and she does pretty good with it. And she has like a another online classes and stuff like that that she does. So yeah, Miss Angel is has her own businesses as well. So um hold on, why is this doing this? Okay. Um Leonard Wilson at Natalie says he was a chef and he wanted to start his own. He knew that he could never make real money working for someone. So Leonard Wilson says, like my daughter, she wants me to invest in her business. I said, well, after you go to school, you can give me a business plan and we can talk about it afterwards. Natalie says at Leonard, so that motivated you and you had the experience to get there. Natalie says hello. She does a star because she has her wrench. So Natalie has her wrench, y'all. She's a moderator. So Natalie says, oh, wow. Smiley face. Natalie says, I'm so effing honored. Natalie says, thank you. You're welcome, Natalie. Anything for you. Thank you for always being here for me. So Natalie, she does the 4 peach hearts. Leonard Wilson says, Natalie, I didn't go to school for business, but I did get my doctrines and some music, but I did run my life when I was touring as a musician, as a business. So it went hand in hand. So Leonard, he has a lot of business experience. He's traveled. He's a retired musician. He's has a lot of experience and knowledge and education. So Natalie says, no, I'll use it wisely. Natalie says, I'm no thug. She does the crying face. Leonard Wilson says, here's the thing. It's got to be a business that you love, because if you don't love it, you'll get tired of it and you'll let it fail by the wayside. Yes, that's true. Leonard Wilson says, she said New Jack City, laughing my ass off. Leonard's silly. I'm glad, even though my voice is not all the way right, y'all, I can laugh again. So before, when I was first going through the severe hoarseness, I couldn't laugh at all. Yeah, because if I laughed, I would just start coughing. So I'm very grateful for whatever voice the Lord gives me. If the Lord keeps my voice hoarse like this the rest of my life, then hey, He's still allowing me to talk, right? Natalie says, "Oh wow, I'm going to go and cry now." Oh, Natalie. Leonard Wilson says, "Natalie, why cry?" And Natalie says, when life is a bit, but really going as planned, this moment really has made me very, very happy. Yes, congratulations. Natalie says, not to be dramatic. Sorry. No need to apologize, Natalie. You're just fine. Leonard Wilson says, y'all make my day. I don't have a lot of real people around me. And when you're online, I feel like I'm with family. You are family here, Leonard Wilson. Yeah. So Natalie says, at Leonard, me too. So Natalie's confirming that when she comes to this platform. And that's the purpose of it. I didn't create it. This ain't a drama platform where I'm here to piss people off and abuse people. This is not the abuser's platform. Natalie says, Leonard Wilson says at Natalie, I asked because I care. Natalie says at Leonard, thank you. This is too much emotion right now. I'm going to breathe in and out. Yes. Okay. And it is a upgrade. It's a surprise. It's an accomplishment. When you have a YouTube channel, when you're a moderator, when someone's mentioning your name on YouTube, it is an accomplishment. Okay. Okay. So, hold on. Let me go back here. Hold on. Hold on, yeah. I'm trying to find Yeah, Natalie says, when life is a bit not really going as planned, this moment really has made me very, very happy. Natalie says, not to be dramatic. Sorry, no need to apologize. So Leonard, I think I read this before. He says, y'all make my day. I don't have a lot of real people around me. And when you're online, I feel like I'm with family. Natalie says at Leonard, me too. Leonard Wilson at Natalie says, I ask because I care. Natalie at Leonard says, thank you. This is too much emotion right now. I'm going to breathe in and out with the crying face, like a happy cry. Okay. Leonard Wilson and Natalie says, Natalie, okay. So here you go. You research whatever business you want to get into, right? Then you find out everything you need down to the penny to start that business. Leonard Wilson, thank you for being such a gentleman and being so motivational and respectful towards the ladies. Okay. I'm very grateful for you for that. Leonard Wilson says, then you come on YouTube and look at other people that have started small businesses. It may not work for you, but the more you know, the more you grow. Amen. The more you know, you grow. You hear that, y'all? Leonard Wilson says that. Leonard Wilson says, if you're wanting to start your own business, I can help you out with the marketing side of it. Is totally free. Thank you, Leonard Wilson, for offering that to us. So Leonard Wilson, he's offering that he can help with business startup and the marketing. Okay, Natalie says at Leonard, which I've been doing, I'm learning a lot, yet my fear has a strong hold on me, which I'm not too proud of. Thank you again. Natalie says, welcome home, Isaiah, with the heart. Leonard Wilson says, I would like to financially support the channel if possible. So Natalie says, on hold, let me look for her Cash App. Hold on. Okay, so Leonard Wilson says, I asked her why she was going to cry Also, not because I was being nosy, but I care. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Leonard Wilson, you were concerned. So Natalie comes back with the Cash App and says $ try today 123, which is the correct Cash App. And I like how she put it in all caps because that's how my Cash App looks. It's in all caps. $try today 123 123. So it's $TRYTODAY 123. Leonard Wilson says that Natalie, thanks. Have the app now. Natalie says Cash App, $try today 123. Leonard Wilson says, I don't know if I'll have the time to be a moderator, but I'll give it a shot if you like. Yes, okay, so thank you, Leonard, for that, for saying you'll give it a shot. So Leonard Wilson says, learn with me anything that I believe and I support it financially. So Natalie says, do you know about Rumble? She does the smiley faces, a couple of those Natalie does. Leonard Wilson just said, is he sent one? I think that's talking about a Cash App. So I'll have to check that once I get off the app. Leonard Wilson, thank you. So Natalie says, Heart, Peach Heart at Leonard Peach Heart. Her online pretty writing. I love it. Leonard Wilson says, at Natalie, don't know anything about Rumble. Natalie says, oh, hello, laugh out loud. So Natalie does a bunch of crying faces. I was talking about New Jack City and all kind of crazy stuff. So Leonard Wilson says, it looks like the Cash App went through. Thank you so much, Leonard Wilson. Natalie says that Leonard, Rumble is similar to YouTube, but it's an easier site for content creators to upload and without the steps YouTube requires. Okay, thank you for that. Natalie says she does a heart, the star at Leonard Wilson, another heart, stars. Leonard Wilson at Natalie says, oh, that's cool. Natalie says you are consistent, talking about myself, because I mentioned that I'm consistent with uploading on this channel. Thank you so much for that, Natalie. Leonard Wilson says I go by Leonard Wilson. That's my stage name. My real name is Glenn Leonard Wilson. Thank you so much for that, Leonard. I remember commenting that I love your complete name. Beautiful name. Natalie says, yeah, I remember and you promoted him. Yes, I sure did, Natalie. Natalie says, wait, stage name? She does the holding hand and the daisies. That's cute. Leonard Wilson says that Natalie, you wasn't here when I explained that I retired from a tour musician. Yeah, Leonard's work with what's his name? He beat up Maya. Yeah, he oh my God, I can't believe I forgot his name. Brian McKnight. Brian McKnight. Yeah. Leonard's work with, he's been on tour with R. Kelly, Brian McKnight. So he's been on tour with some pretty famous people as a musician. So he's worked with some big dogs. Hold on. I'm checking. Natalie says that Leonard, no, sir. So Natalie's saying that she wasn't there to know the musician background. And I'm explaining more of it, like Leonard's work with Brian McKnight, R. Kelly, and many others. Leonard Wilson, the conversation came up in the last live, Miss Irene Dunn. Yeah, it did come up in the live. But the thing is, Leonard pointed out, just because he's worked with these musicians, he's just there to do his job, right? He has nothing to do with R. Kelly's crimes or Brian McKnight beating up on Maya. He's not activity. He just was there to do his musician work, his acting, skits, and he's there. It's a career, it's a business. So I just want to, as a disclaimer, I'm not linking Leonard Wilson to any activities that R. Kelly or Brian McKnight was doing that's considered illegal or criminal, just to explain that. So Leonard Wilson says the conversation came up in the last live, Miss Irene Dunn. Natalie says that Leonard, my goodness, no wonder you can't sleep. That's cute. Leonard Wilson says, and you still ain't been to the doctor. Don't miss that part. Laugh out loud. I do have the online weekly the phone. I have a phone nurse call me from my doctor's office. So Nurse Jules, she calls me once a week. I wasn't scheduled with her this week because of the embezzlement legal case, but she's aware. So I haven't went technically to the hospital. I had one doctor's appointment that I went in for, and I got a dermatology referral because I keep up to date on my skin. I got eczema, so I see a dermatologist here and there to keep my skin clear and stuff. So yeah, so I had a doctor's appointment, but with the respiratory issue, I have not technically been seen for that, but I am having phone conversations with a nurse that's at my clinic that I go to. So just so you know, I am getting, yeah, exactly, telehealth. Yeah, so I have done that. I just need to actually go in because they can't give me a prescription for anything that I have until I go in. And also the pain in my lungs, that's kind of cleared up. Because what I have could be viral as well. So remember, if it's just viral, sometimes antibiotics always work for me. I don't care if it's bacteria or viral. It just always works. But if it's just viral, it just has to clear itself up over time as well. So let me see. Hold on. Yeah, you still ain't been to the doctor. Don't miss that part, Miss Irene. Laugh out loud. Thank you for being concerned about my health, Leonard Wilson. Natalie does the laughy face. Natalie says, yes, he is. Natalie says it's refreshing. Leonard Wilson says, no need to thank me. It's well deserved. Leonard Wilson states Brian McKnight. Yes, so it's Brian McKnight. Leonard Wilson says, you always got to support the actor or artist. Is how the game goes. Absolutely. And then Leonard Wilson does the telehealth. Laugh out loud. Yep, that's what it's called, telehealth. So, hold on one second. So, yep, I think I got caught up on all the comments. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. So, do y'all have any questions for this live? Any questions? Live videos, y'all, give you a lot of business experience. It sure does. It's not always the degree that gets you where you want to go, y'all. That's one thing I've learned in life. Yeah, education helps. It does. But in certain areas where you want to be, it's where you've been and what platforms you've been on, y'all. Yep. You will find out. Why is this device not working? Okay, so, and thank you so much for welcoming Isaiah home. Natalie, that means a lot to me. Natalie has a really good heart. She sure does. Her heart comes all through here. Yeah. Yep, your heart comes in what you type, y'all. It's energy. It sure is. It's energy. Hold on. Doing this here. Type any questions y'all may have. Any questions that y'all may have. Click another like for whomever's here if you haven't already clicked a like. I would appreciate that. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already done that as well. Oh yeah, go ahead and ask your question, Leonard. I would love to hear your question. Hold on, I'm still checking these comments. Hold on one second, y'all. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna answer these questions too. Um, Hold on. I'm gonna answer Natalie's questions. Hold on. So, hold on. Hold on one second. Natalie, great job. What I do, I take stuff kind of serious, y'all. I know I talk crap on here, but I'm actually um a professional in many of my natural abilities. So what I do, I mean, it's we want to perfect ourselves, right? So Natalie, she has the wrench now. She's a moderator. So what I'm taking the time to do is to overlook her comments and statements and things that she's saying. And Natalie, keep up the great work. Everything is like perfect. And so yeah, so I'm just reviewing. I would do this like if I was the president of a company and I gave the wrench to my CEO. You're always supposed to overlook or just glance at their work. It's nothing wrong with it. It's nothing wrong with just glancing at the work, especially once you hand over the keys, right? right? So keep up the great work, Natalie. Now, see what I'm seeing is this. I should have been gave her the wrench. For one, I didn't know how to give the wrench. So let me explain that. So, see, I play stuff off. I'm a Scorpio, right? So when I was like, yeah, Natalie's my moderator, people will notice she doesn't have a wrench. But you have to be careful telling people all of what you don't know. There's nothing wrong with telling people what you don't know, but you don't want to do it to the degree of being it's impulse control. You got to have control, right? And you have to I knew that I would learn it eventually. You know, when I would click on the comments and stuff, I would see things that said moderator. I'm not going to lie, I have a little anxiety. I was scared to mess with it because I wasn't sure how to work it. I watch YouTube training videos, and I came across some training videos that talked about moderators. And so I said, well, next time Natalie comes in here, I'll try to give her the wrench. Right. So because I do know I used to be a moderator on this one YouTuber channel, and I told y'all the story. He flipped out on me. I was one of his moderators. He had about 5 ladies, and they were Black ladies that was his moderators. And one time he talked a lot of ministry stuff, and I was just telling him, you know, pork may not be the best food for your health. I said that, and man, next thing I know, that man, he went off on me. You don't do that to your moderator, right? Oh, you didn't know the story, Natalie? Oh my God. I'm not gonna assassinate his character, but I'm still subscribed to him. I still support him. I still watch his videos. I commend him for his strength. For he has like a real bad, what you call it, melanoma. It's a real bad skin cancer. He's suffering a lot. He's lost weight. He's really fighting it. He's a good fighter. But when someone's your moderator, you just want to talk to people properly, right? I would never, if Natalie said to me that eating fried chicken ain't a good idea, you think I would start cussing at her and telling her to shut up? He didn't really cuss me. I don't remember him cussing me, because I think if he would have went that far, I would have unsubscribed. But he talked to me pretty bad, and he had about up to 300 people in his live. So yeah, it just was a bad thing. And this was before I had my own YouTube channel. And so yeah, so I had that experience, but I was a YouTuber. So just understand my background. And I moderated on his channel for about a year. I sure did. But he went all off on me over the pig, y'all. And you know, next thing I know, within some months, he was looking like a pig. Shoot, the cancer, the way it took him over, I was like, oh my God, his lips are the color of a pig. What the fuck? And that ain't got nothing to do with me. He didn't experience no bad karma. That was gonna happen to him no matter what. But you never know. He was a big pig supporter, right? You know, the pig doesn't have sweat glands. So I think if you're gonna eat it, just minimize it. You know, just be careful with certain meats. When I was in my late teens, a gentleman told me that he watched this video, and they had an old piece of beef laying somewhere and an old piece of pork. And after like a couple of days of those meats being on the sidewalk, the old piece of pork started walking. It like died. So look at it. You're putting that in your intestines, right? So that's all. But I wish the brother all the help he could get. You know, what I do like about this brother is he still does his videos. He is not ashamed of his face. He's looking much better. But I'm no longer wanted to be his moderator. I mean, you can't treat your supporters that way. You don't go off on your moderators in the live like that, especially over something like that. I was just engaging in the conversation. Moderators, when they have the ranch, they do what Natalie's doing. She's doing a perfect job, but they also talk and they talk to other people in the chat. They're very active in the chat, and that's what I was doing, participating in the conversation. All he had to say was, good job, you don't eat pork, that's on you. But it was one of those biblical debates. No, the Bible says you can eat pork, but whether the Bible said or not, if you watch the video and you see a piece of beef left outside in the heat, and you see a piece of pork left outside in the heat, and they can show you on live video that after 24 to 48 hours, one of these motherfucking pieces of meat start fucking walking away, which one you don't want to put in your body? And this wasn't no AI shit. This video was out before this AI stuff was out. So this ain't no artificial intelligence and made up video. This was one of my elders, and he told me when I was in my late teens why you shouldn't mess with pork much. Uncle Jerry, he sure did. And that's not a meat that I eat often. It's not a meat that I eat often. I don't mess with a lot of meat anyway. I sure don't. So so let me check out these comments. So I think, let's see. Natalie, let me see. Hold on. I think Natalie asked, hold on. Okay. I read that one. Oh, Leonard Wilson says that, Natalie, what I did, I tested my food on my family and friends, just enough for the taste. It wasn't trying to make them bust, laugh out loud. So Leonard's talking about his restaurant business that he was doing. So he used his friends and family as a platform for taste testers. Okay, so Natalie says that Leonard, well, see, I have about 2 family members I talk with, and that's it, laugh out loud. Yeah, Natalie's introverted, she's kind of like me. So Natalie says, it does, but there are options, and how open you are to experiences outside of the norm. Great comments, Leonard and Natalie. So Leonard says that, Natalie, 2 people is better than nothing. You want to get that word of mouth out there. You don't have to spend a lot of money in advertising. Very true. Very true. And y'all, just so you know, if you start a business and you want me to advertise for you here, I will do that. I don't advertise Daniel's channel anymore because he doesn't upload. So I am strict on, remember, I have almost 1,000 subscribers. I have over, where am I at view-wise? Natalie, can you check my total views? Go to the description, go to my channel, click on more, and it should give you my total views. So you think I'm small till you see my views. Okay, hold on. Let me check here. Hold on. Let me go to YouTube here. Natalie or Leonard, are y'all able to see my views? Okay, so I have 128,370 views to date. Yep. Thank you, Natalie, for checking that. That's accurate. That's what I came up with too. So thanks. And sorry I went to check it. I wasn't sure if you were still on here to check it. Um, yeah, no problem, Natalie. Thank you. I wasn't sure if you knew how to find it because for a while I didn't know how to find it. And I had been on YouTube for a while before I learned that. So thank you so much for checking that. So yeah, those are my total views. So whatever views I get from this video, say I get 50 or 100 views, I would be at 128,300 or 470 views if I got 100 views on this video. So I will advertise on here. Like I did with the Serene Herbs. Remember, Natalie? I think you went and got that soap. That sour soap with Serene Herbs, remember? I did a live about that Sunday, and then next couple of lives, Natalie said she got the soap. So stuff like that. I've done St. Jude. I've talked about St. Jude, the children's cancer organization. I'm very supportive of businesses on here. And so let me go back here and look at them. I'm getting caught up on these comments. Yeah, you don't have to spend a lot of money in advertising. So Leonard Wilson says, so what made you call your sister? She sent me this Facebook post, and then my sister called me with career issues. Remember, I'm a supply source for my sister. So if she needs to vent or she needs a free therapist, I'm always here. Right? Here to a certain degree. But I'm not overly nice to people. I know their nature and I know how they are, and there will be boundaries I will set. Like, for example, I didn't call my little sister for her birthday. She wasn't thinking about my ass when my birthday passed last year, right? So that's just a responsibility I have removed out of my life. I don't have to call her for her birthday. I don't want a relationship with my sibling where that's the only day of the year we talk. And so these holiday celebrators, that's where that holiday thing backfires. Thanksgiving, birthdays. And it's a shame. Some family members, that's the only day they know to talk to one another. So I like that my sister and I, we can talk anytime. I don't want to create we just talk on birthdays relationship. So there's benefits to doing that. And I'm just removing calling people on their birthdays out of my schedule and agenda. It's putting stress on me that I don't need. And she ain't got to call me. You ain't got to call me on my birthday. It's not a requirement for me. What would I rather have? Y'all being here and just we support one another, or the once a year birthday call? You want viewers or birthday calls? Viewers, because you're learning something. We're talking about business here. I love this conversation. Hold on, I'm going back. So yeah, she called me with some career issues that she's having. And so I gave my advice on that. I was a healing source. Sometimes my sister's that to me too. We had an interesting conversation. We had a 3-way call with a family friend. Oh my goodness, I got to tell y'all about that. And that will be a good video to cover. Natalie and Leonard, y'all will like that video. I'll be doing it sometime coming up. Natalie, it took me 3 months to do the grandfather video. So I'm going to be doing a video about the domestic violence stuff. And because my sister and I were on a 3-way call. My sister and I, we probably closer than a lot of siblings, y'all. one of the great things about my sister and I relationship, I'm gonna be honest, we don't have the cussing you out, punching each other out as adults. We had a couple of fights when we were kids, or I wouldn't even call it fights. It was me jumping on my sister, y'all. I don't want to call it a fight when it wasn't no fight. I jumped on my sister a couple of times. I sure did. I'm the big sister. I had an anger problem and I jumped on her. I was a kid, about 10 years old, something like that. But what I can say, and I've apologized to my sister for those episodes, but as adults, you know better. I know not to jump on my sister. Once you become an older teen, once I became a teenager, I didn't lay my hands on my sister. But me and my sister, we came from a little dysfunction, y'all. Being unsupervised for hours and hours. There was a lot of neglect. Yeah, money don't make you not be neglected. My sister and I were both being neglected, and there's actually an excuse for the domestic violence. And siblings will jump on you. You know what I'm saying? But it's nothing I'm proud of, but I'm just clarifying it because when you say a fight, you got to be careful calling something a fight when one person is not fighting you back. My sister did not fight me back, so there's no fight. There's actually a couple of times where I was the abuser in that situation. I sure did. I would say in those instances when I was about 10, 11 years old, I ain't like my sister. Certain things she did, I know how to handle her now since I'm older without fighting her. Um, but I was from St. Louis. One time I got mad at my sister because she was snitching on me and stuff. I'm from the Lou. Snitches get stitches. So I had that ignorant ass mentality. You know. But sometimes my sister was good when she snitched because she saved my damn life. Like when our narcissistic, sociopathic, big ass, black ass mama came down there and assaulted me. I mean, thank God my sister went and got me some help. So it's part of dysfunction, but I've apologized. My little sister wasn't the only kid I beat up, y'all. First of all, I'm 10 years old. Motherfucking 8 to 10 kids are dropped off at my grandmother's, and y'all talking about I'm the babysitter, and I'm just 10 years old. I'm still a kid. So yeah, them motherfucking Keith, my sister, there was some bad little motherfucking kids, and they was doing shit I wasn't in approval of, like the pit bull that would be out in the parking lot. Jock, they was enjoying letting Jock go up under the fence and rip his skin off. I was I wasn't even really an animal lover, but I what you letting the pit bull rip his skin off? Bam, bam, bam. I knocked all them motherfuckers out. I did. One became a pastor. Yeah, Keith thanked me, praying to the Lord. I beat his ass so good. Them was some bad fucking kids. I do believe in corporal punishment. I was raised. I went to Catholic school part of my life. I remember the lines where they had the tape on the wood sticks and you got your ass spanked. So they've taken corporal punishment out of the schools. But when I went to school, your second grade teacher could line all you motherfuckers up and beat you. The nuns did too in Catholic schools. So I was raised on corporal punishment. So I was spanked. So if you drop your kids off to me and my grandmother's when I'm 10, pay attention to my age now. That's called parentification. That's a form of abuse towards me. You dropping all these kids off on me and I'm 10. Right? So Yeah, so little kids got their ass whooped. They did. And it was like maybe 2 spankings or whatever towards my sister. I wasn't like beating my sister every week, but the spankings were severe enough that as an adult, I knew to apologize because I know that those spankings were not right. But also, I went through therapy, and the therapist told me that I was being victimized because at 10, I don't have kids, and I wasn't mature enough to be watching all those baby kids. I'm adding that on it. Them were some baby kids. Tina too, my sister too. Like I told you with the pit bull, them little motherfuckers. It wasn't even our pit bull. I still to this day don't know who the fuck that dog belonged to. Jocko. And on the side of my grandmother's restaurant, it was a big old parking lot, and they would let this dog, this pit bull, they would like raise the little fence up and let him go up under there enough, and they was enjoying him ripping his skin off and bleeding. I went out in the alleyway. I told them motherfuckers to stop. They didn't stop. Remember, I always, even me not being an animal lover, because I was scared the fuck of that dog, but I did not approve of these little baby kids letting this dog bleed, and my little sister was one of them. She was one of the little cute sociopaths out there, like, ha ha he he. Nah, them motherfuckers, this ain't funny. I went out in the alleyway. I told them to stop. This was just like examples of things I went through. Okay. Yeah, whoopings. Yeah, they were. Yeah, I was whooping them. Yeah. I'm being gentle by calling it a spanking. I was laying hands. And wasn't nobody fighting me back like that. There's no sense of doing it. Because when I get on that tip, don't fight me back because I'm going to beat you worse. Now I might have to. It's just, look, it was best not to fight me back. My sister can fight me back now. But at that time, don't fight me back. Don't fight me back because this is a losing battle. First of all, you are morally not in the right. All you little baby, little motherfuckers out in the alleyway, y'all is letting this, y'all is enjoying this pit bull getting his skin ripped off. And I would come out there and check. I'm like looking at them. Then when they see me coming, they run. All these little sociopaths running from me. Because I'm coming out there with my high yellow mean ass. Because I was a little skinny little motherfucker, right? I'm coming out there, my little skinny high yellow ass, like I'm walking on some stilts. What's going on out here? Yeah, so they started running. But those were some of the issues with the kids. One of the kids I kind of tried to spank up because he was putting on a wig. So I never was with the transgender homo shit. So I'm going to whoop your little ass too. Because I done came back in the room and your motherfucking ass got on a wig. So I slapped his ass up, snatched the wig off. You don't wear wigs, dog. Okay, I don't care if nobody is not watching us. If you don't take that motherfucking wig off, it on lipstick and everything. Sure did. Chris, I took some little photos of it. I was a weird kid. I'm a Scorpio. I took a couple of pictures of the shit. But after I took the photos, I whooped his ass. Okay, I got your little cute picture. Yeah, you got, let me see, Chris. I came in there. He had on a dress, some lipstick, and a wig. Because that day, Chris was like one of the only boys. He was Lewis and Gladys' son. He like one of the only boys. And I had my one-step camera. So I came and I was like, oh, you got on Chris, let me see you, boy. I said, you got on a wig, some lipstick, and a dress. I went and got my camera. He thought we was in all good, right? I took some photos. Turn that way. I want to get a side snap. I took them photos and I whooped his motherfucking ass. I sure did. Next thing you know, I was bam, bam, bam. Put it on again, nigga. And he never did that shit again. And he ended up being a straight male. And he's passed away now, but he died a straight male. He was not a homosexual. Yeah. So the Lord had me do my work. I was always one of those very moral kids, y'all. I had a lot of morality, and I had a certain instinct of right and wrong, right? Yeah, remember, my mother was a bishop. My mother owned a church. So even though she was not actively raising my sister and I just think the morality was genetic. It was just in me. Yeah. But that's the type of stuff that was going on. Like I said, it was an unfit, neglectful environment. My sister and I should have been placed. We were in a situation that we should not have been in. My grandmother's restaurant was not the best placement for us, from my perspective, and I've told my sister this. I've apologized. I've asked for forgiveness. I was a kid. I was being abused just like my little sister was. That's why I'm not a normal. It wasn't my nature to be a narcissist. It's just not in my nature, but I also did not turn out normal. An empathic personality is not a normal person. They're not normal, y'all. Okay? A normal wouldn't have cared about none of this shit. They would have seen the dog. There wouldn't have been enough empathy to even care about the dog. A normal just would have went in, watched some cartoons, and just stayed out of it. Yeah, Natalie, yeah. There was a certain level of abuse. The restaurant, my grandmother's restaurant, was a blessing and a curse. It was both a mixture. I had a lot of good times there. My grandmother invested a lot in education, a lot of tutors. There was areas where she was very dedicated. I always had a stable place to live. And my grandmother, when I was very small, she took me out of town when she traveled more. But at some point, my grandmother developed high blood pressure and she became ill. Right? So, but I try to be honest on this channel. And so, it's just like the Shanquella Robinson case, She was attacked and jumped on in Mexico, right? And I hate it when people call it a fight. It's not a fight. She's taken out her bed, assaulted and jumped on by more than one girl, and Shanquella Robinson never fought back. I have a playlist about her. Yeah, Natalie, the pillow incident. Yes, that happened to me. I was 9 years old. And there's some other situations I'm going to talk about too. Yeah, 9 years old, my grandmother began smothering me for nothing. And so that happened too. And keep this in mind. When that happened, when my grandmother smothered me, I was 9. And that's when we had moved back in the restaurant, in the residential part, and my little sister had not came yet. So what happens is I'm being abused and there's something going on with me emotionally. And so that stuff happened. That incident where I was smothered by my grandmother happened about a year before my little sister came and started staying with us at the restaurant. So yeah, so that does affect the child. So if a child has been smothered out, they're going to do one or two things. They're going to totally withdraw and isolate completely, or they're going to whoop somebody's ass. Okay, so they're going to whoop an ass. It's just the child, I was smothered out at 9. Also, my grandmother, some years before that, was driving me around with her doctor friend, Dr. Wells, with a .38 pistol in her lap. And I was right behind the driver's seat, and my grandmother was asking me to show me their house. Because remember, I was also locked in a basement for a week by the babysitter when the German Shepherd, the girl German Shepherd, took care of me. Okay, so thank God for my grandmother and the hospitals. I was hospitalized for that. So I had asthma attacks down in that basement. I'm going to do a whole nother video to talk more about that. But those are the things that occurred before my sister came to stay. So by the time my sister came, yeah, I would like to write a book, Leonard. Yeah, I should. People tell my sister that too. We should write a book. So by the time my sister comes, I'm a ticking time bomb. I was a ticking time bomb. And luckily, thank God for my nature, because when I look at the experiences that I experienced, I'm lucky I didn't end up being a damn serial killer. Yeah. I'm lucky. And see, I had interventions. Fortunately, the reason I didn't come out and be a narcissist is because I had women like Rochelle in my life, my mother's spiritual side, and I had a lot of women that Miss Finley, I had women, Paula, Linda, I had a lot of women, Lucille, I had that were women that were not the type where they would ever smother a child. So I had an intervention. So if it was not for those interventions, I probably would have been a narcissist or a sociopath as well. Yeah. And Natalie, we talked about that. You know, me sharing my experiences. Good job being child free. Good job. You don't have to have children to live a beautiful life. It is true. You don't have to have children to live a beautiful life. It's not necessary. So, hold on. Let me check these comments. Hold on. Oh, yeah, Leonard Wilson said, what made you reach out to your sister today? And I explained that she called and she's having career issues that she talked to me about. Natalie says maybe YouTube is lagging. Leonard Wilson says, yeah, that could be. Maybe she needs to get a tablet or laptop. I do have a tablet, Leonard. I have a couple of those. I use several devices, and two of those devices are actually tablets. So I'm using those now. So Natalie says, yeah. Leonard Wilson says, so by the way, I caught that Chris Brown and Usher tour. That is a joke. Chris Brown is making Usher look real bad on stage, which everybody knew would happen. Yeah, I agree with that, Leonard Wilson. So Natalie says, I'm a granny out if the loop of entertainment. I listen to instruments and deep house music or independent music. Leonard Wilson says, at Natalie, you said house music. You must live in Chicago. Right, thereabouts. Natalie said, right. Natalie did the smiling face. So Leonard Wilson says, I became a jazz head. I might put some music out. I might not really have decided. Haven't decided. Okay. Natalie says, I don't know of the story. Natalie says, no. Leonard Wilson says, congratulations, sis. Talking to Natalie. Natalie says, sorry. Natalie at Leonard says, no, Florida born and raised, but funny. I just listened to some Chicago house and boy, I was jamming. Leonard Wilson says, laugh out loud. Natalie says, honestly, he overreacted. You said nothing wrong. Yeah, Leonard Wilson says that Natalie, when you get a chance, check out that go-go music coming out of Baltimore and see what you think of that. Leonard Wilson says that is why he's a vegetarian, because I was talking about the pork and stuff. So Natalie confirmed that my total views are 128,370. Natalie says, sorry, took some time. No, you did it. You did it very expediently. So thanks, Natalie. So Natalie says, yes, I did. Thanks to you. Natalie purchased those sour salt bitters because I did a live and I talked about the Serene Herbs website. I just was saying that when I advertise on here or bring something up, people go purchase it. And Natalie proved that. She went and got what I talked about. And I'm going to get it too. I just haven't got around to it. So Natalie says that music challenge accepted. I can't wait. Leonard Wilson says she already checked your views and posted it. Thanks for pointing that out, Leonard. Natalie says support the channel, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for that, Natalie. And everybody, if you're not aware, when you see the person's name in blue and you see that they have a wrench, that means that they are a moderator. So Leonard Wilson says, because I know you mentioned around her birthday or something, he went to call her back and she didn't answer the phone. Yeah, and I'm not, birthdays are no longer my responsibility to call people. So Natalie says, welcome in, come in and share and like. Leonard Wilson says, you're right, holidays, birthdays, and funerals ain't seen you since then, laugh out loud. Leonard Wilson says that Natalie, you're pretty good at that. Moderating, I see I'm jealous, laugh out loud. Leonard's silly. Leonard Wilson says, so are you saying you became her trash can? Yeah, I mean, Leonard Wilson, you can consider it like that. I mean, I am a big sister. So, I don't mind listening to my sisters and venting to her. Our mother's deceased. My sister listens to me. So I vent to her. So, yeah. Empaths have supply too, y'all. So that's an area where we listen to one another. Natalie says that Leonard, I'm naturally militant. Thank you. Natalie says, oh, wow, handing out spankings. Yeah. Leonard Wilson and Natalie says, you call it spankings. I'll call it ass whoopings. I think they both the same in a way. Laugh out loud. Natalie says, I believe I watched a documentary of that happening, a negative impact on certain children that have to raise siblings. Yeah. Because we didn't have our mother. So that's challenging, on the child. Natalie says, oh, wow, I wasn't raised with that. Natalie says, my mother preferred talking to us than spanking. Natalie says, wow, that's a story, Lord. So Leonard Wilson says, at Natalie, there was 5 of us talking. 2 didn't get it. My mom beat the shit out of us. We also was in poverty, so I had to make a better way for myself. So yeah, Leonard Wilson tells it right there. And he means that when he say mama beat the shit out of him. Yeah, he mean that for real. I'm sorry that the corporal punishment was so extreme, Leonard. Beating the shit out of someone is abuse. And it's a sign that a parent or parents can be narcissistic sociopaths, because when they beat the shit out of you, there's no empathy for that child. So those are signs that you were potentially raised by narcissistic sociopaths. No disrespect to your mother, but that's definitely a sign. So Natalie Atlanta says, I understand my mom decided 2 daughters was enough. She came from a family of 12. Natalie says very much, so a lot of abuse. Leonard Wilson at Natalie says, I was the only one that my mom didn't want because of my dad. So I had to make a way for myself at 14 years old and I ain't looked back. Yeah. So Leonard started on his journey pretty young. Natalie says, the pillow incident has not left my mind. Thank you for that, Natalie, for remembering that it happened. And that video about that pillow incident as well. So it's not nothing I could change. I'm glad the smothering was not complete. I thank the Lord that James came back from the store when he did and came upstairs and walked down the hallway so that my grandmother stopped that process. Leonard Wilson says that Natalie, you have children now, and if so, how do you correct them? Natalie at Leonard says, wow, that is a life. I know nothing about my mom. Still babies me at a big age. Sorry to your 14-year-old. You, yeah, Natalie's talking about Leonard, you know, what he went through with his extreme spankings and whoopings and what could be abuse. Natalie says, I remember that live really was disturbing and the eye opener to the woman you are now. Um, yes, thank you so much for that, Natalie. Leonard Wilson says you need to write a book. It would be hilarious. Um, Leonard, I mean, see, this is one thing I'll say, Leonard. Would it be hilarious or deep or I mean, some of the things might be hilarious, but you know, certain things would be probably sad to people. Like you said, you need to write a book. It would be hilarious, laugh out loud. Yeah, I could, but it would be a mixture. It probably would be things in the book that would be hilarious. It would be things in the books that would be very informative. Um, but certain things wouldn't be hilarious, like abuse and being smothered out by your grandmother, and you know the dog, you know, going up under the metal wire fence till he's bleeding. That's not hilarious because that stuff ain't funny. You know, I mean that stuff is like what the fuck. But yeah, there would be elements of the book that would be hilarious. I would agree with that, Leonard Wilson. So thank you for that. So Natalie at Leonard says child free over here. Yep, good job, Natalie. There was a message removed by Leonard Wilson. I guess he probably corrected a message. Natalie says, yes, that could have been your pathway to being a narc. Yes, exactly, Natalie. But like I said, I had intervention. So the narcissism settles in when there's no intervention. So thank God for all the women that don't smother children, right? So Leonard Wilson says, don't be sorry for me. It made me the man I am today and how I raise my children. Leonard Wilson says, now I know if I ever meet a lady from St. Louis, born and raised, I need to run in the wrong direction. You silly, Leonard. Laugh out loud. He's so silly. Not crazy, but silly. He's funny. I like the humor that Leonard Wilson brings here. So now he says, nah, they are the best women around. Get you one, sir. Stop playing. So Natalie is in approval of St. Louis women. So yeah, you don't need to run from St. Louis women. Not all of us, you know. Some St. Louis women you might need to run from, but I'm not going to harm you, Leonard. So Natalie says she does the smiley face with the 3 hearts. Leonard Wilson says, yes, I'm playing, laugh out loud. So Natalie says, please click the like if you haven't already, share and subscribe. So those were great. Hold on, let me check these comments here. Hold on, y'all. Any questions, y'all? So I went through all of those comments. Yeah, having a moderator, especially a formal one with the wrench, it does I can see the easiness of it now and the purpose of it, because I don't have to observe the comments hyper vigilantly. Like I don't have to be hyper vigilant about stuff on here now. You can be more relaxed. So I see the purpose of it. A lot of people used to come in here and ask to be a moderator, and it would amaze me because I'm like, do I know you? Some of them, it was unbelievable. Like, people have been asking to be the moderator for like years. And I knew my moderator would be someone that did not ask. right? I mean, yeah, I had a lot of people ask stuff, and I just some of them would act like a troll and want to be my moderator. I'm like, ain't you a troll, dog? How you gonna be a troll and my moderator? I couldn't believe it. Yeah, but it was some people that I'm like, I would have to be insane to give you a wrench, dog. I mean, it was some freaking strange people. And some of them would come in here, ask to be a moderator. And I don't think people understood why people would randomly want to be a moderator. You can put it on your resume. You don't know. I don't know how the technology jobs are. You know, one of the job requirements may be to prove that you're a moderator on 10 channels. This is an entry-level technology job. You need to be a moderator on 10 channels and prove it. I don't know. But people would come in here and ask. At that time, I didn't need one. At that time, I didn't even understand. Even though I was a moderator, I didn't necessarily understand what the full purpose was, right? Because I felt like, well, I can do this. But once you step outside the box, well, for one, I didn't know how. But I mean, people would want to be the moderator and they weren't even active in the chat. And that would surprise me too. And one of the things I never did was tell them what they needed to do to be the moderator. You want your moderator to come naturally to you. You don't really want to tell them what you need. It's like telling a man what he needs to do to win your heart. Yeah, he'll do that to win your heart, but then he's going to switch up on you. You just gave him a bunch of information for him to just get in good with you, just to harm you later. So let me see here. Please click a like, y'all. But I don't know, the beginning of this phone chronicle, I almost feel like, because I'm trying to talk about business, I wasn't trying to talk about how we can be drug addicts and have a business, our own properties and stuff like that. So I think I don't think my sister and I would be compatible business partners because we're morally on different pages. And not that she's in a worse moral place, but I'm around different people. Like, you know, my sister, she's seen a lot of people successful in business that's on drugs, but I'm seeing a lot of people successful in business that don't do drugs at all. And there are people that are off substances, y'all. That's why you gotta, my suggestion, go to events. When people invite you to things, let me give you a clue. Just like I went to the wedding, okay, or the nikah. So go to people's stuff. If they invite you, when people get married and there's positive events, when people they have political events, and volunteer. You'll be around a lot of non-addicts, and you will realize the dysfunction in your own family, right? So I'm gonna review this live, and I'm gonna see how I feel when I review it. But with my sister and I, while she's talking about how people are successful on dope, and the reason she's advocating prior cigarette smoker. Okay, so my sister had an addiction to cigarettes. And maybe she still smokes a little here and there. I don't know. But as far as I know, she stopped smoking cigarettes because she started having health complications over the past year. But people tend to support what they're still a part of. And, my sister, she rents from addicts, and she sees what she feels is success, right? If you're on meth, yeah, you own a house. But if you're on meth, you're still not successful. Success is not just in owning the house. Your success is also not being on meth. Okay, so this is the issue with that, okay? So Nally says, this live has been wonderful. Thank you, Nally, and thank you for hanging in here. And I remember naming this how to survive here. This is going to be part 1 of that, I guess, because and when I say here, I'm talking about the United States. And I name my videos secretly. I could say how to survive in the United States. But then if I do that, I'll get more views just because I mentioned the US, right? And what it does, you know how some YouTube channels, they have memberships. So with my channel, I keep it low key, and I don't charge you to be a member. So you get, basically, when you come here, the membership is free to you as of right now. Okay. So the way I keep that atmosphere and environment, here, you should feel like that. Be honest, when y'all come here, don't you feel kind of like you're a member, but you're not having to pay for it? That's because I'm able to keep privacy in the video, limit the views by not naming it certain things, right? So I keep the names sort of secret. Oh, yeah. Leonard Wilson says, I think the last troll that you had when I was going with you tried to hook us up trying to play matchmaker. Yeah, that's true. And you'll be surprised, some of those trolls may personally know you. One of my mistakes early on was sharing my channel on my Facebook page. I should have never done that. And so when I did that, believe it or not, I mean, most trolls don't personally know me. This is just the truth. But some of those trolls may be enemies, and they know you too. But usually not. Okay, but keep in mind, when you share your channel to a Facebook page or any other social media page, some of those trolls are your enemies. They really are. It could be your own family member. That troll could be my goddamn sister talking shit, but it's not. It's not my sister. Let me see. Natalie says, please like, share, and subscribe to show some love. Thank you, moderator. Leonard Wilson says, I think the last troll that you had, oh, I already read that. Yeah, the troll tried to hook us up. That's because the troll know I don't want him. He better try to hook me up because I don't want no motherfucking troll. I want a real man in here, Leonard, like you. So Leonard Wilson says, oh, check this out. I met a young lady the other day and she had told me she was in a sanitation field. So I looked at her and said, what's your garbage person? You said that to her, Leonard? Did you say that to her? That's a woman with the most stable job in the US. A garbage person. First of all, she's not a garbage person. She works in the sanitation field. There's a difference. A garbage person and a sanitation person, they're two different fields. See, a person that works in sanitation, that's like the recycle era, right? Some of those people have to have certain trainings that a garbage person doesn't have to have. When people work in sanitation, that's a serious field. Okay, I'll give you an example. Black mold. That's a specialty. They have to be suited and booted up, and they come in with those industrial sanitizers and they spray the air. A sanitation person in the sanitation field is not a garbage person, Leonard. That woman could be making $150,000 a year, Leonard. Come on now. You done ran off a sister wife. Leonard Wilson. Don't do that. You're running off your money, dog. A garbage person, someone that's picking up your garbage, and someone that works in the sanitation field, they're two different people. A lady that works in the sanitation field, she can have a bachelor's degree, dog. Come on now, you got to learn. I hope you didn't say that to her. That could have been a woman of your dreams. So Leonard Wilson says, since you brought that up, it's not men. Forget what it took to win your heart if they don't care no more, that they feel like they got you. Yeah, it's just you got to be careful with telling people your blueprint. I never tell a man what is required to pull me in. Never do that. You're telling your blueprint. The average man that I would meet would pretend that he's fitting that blueprint and then turn on me later. Yeah, Natalie, thank you. They're both contributing to society. Garbage ladies and men get paid, y'all. The average one up here makes about $26 an hour. Full time, 40 hours a week. Picture both people or pick up garbage. Sanitation and garbage, they're two different fields. Sanitation, she could be the person that's suited and booted up, that's getting all the black mold and mildew out of properties. The sanitation person is usually their lives are at risk when they go in some of these buildings and properties. Leonard, do this. Leonard Wilson, look up sanitation jobs and you will see what I'm talking about. Let me look it up right now. I'll look it up right now. Because what we don't want to do is insult people's careers. It's legal, okay? I commend her for being a sanitation worker. They're also the recyclers. So sanitation jobs became really prevalent, especially during the pandemic. So let me read you this. Sanitation and waste management jobs in this area average between $18 to $27 an hour. I knew that without having to look this up. What did I say? 26 an hour, right? 18 to 27 an hour, with industrial and municipal roles ranging up to $33 an hour for CDL drivers. Okay. Roles span commercial sanitation, plant cleaning, and municipal waste collection, with top local employers actively hiring. So, what you did, you kind of stereotyped the word sanitation, Leonard Wilson, and so you automatically you put it under garbage, and that's not what sanitation is. Notice she didn't say garbage. She says she's a sanitation worker. It's a difference. She's not a garbage lady. Now, if they're a garbage lady or man, they're going to say they're under waste management. But even then, if they say they're a waste management employee, they could be the CEO of the waste management plant. So you calling these people garbage people, you could have ran off a CEO. Yeah, so like now he says they're both contributing to society. We need these people. What are we going to do without sanitation workers and the waste management workers? Leonard Wilson says, yes, good to network. You never know who you're going to run into that can help you or you can help them. Natalie says, I thought you went to sleep on us. Laugh out loud. No, Leonard Wilson says, at Natalie, I thought you went to sleep on us. Laugh out loud. No, Natalie is not asleep. She's very active in this chat, and she has the wrench now. And I'm going to respect her time. So Natalie says, thank you, sanitation workers and waste management workers. Absolutely. We want to thank them. Yeah. We don't want to stereotype. So Leonard Wilson, I hope you learned something. Go back to that lady and apologize. Our sanitation workers, they saved our lives during the pandemic. Who do you think was in and out of those hospitals? You know how many people would have died if we didn't have waste management and sanitation workers? Everybody in the United States would be deceased by now. Come on now. These are essential workers. We must not downgrade them and call them garbage workers and stuff. That's unacceptable, Leonard. I just spanked you, Leonard. You bend over. I'm giving you a spanking, Leonard Wilson. He's just a man, y'all. That's how men are. They some cold-hearted, something else. So, so Natalie at Leonard says, nah, I'm listening with the smiley face. Leonard Wilson, bigger. It is big. She's a sanitation worker, Leonard. She's not a garbage lady. I just read you the description. Are you not listening here? Let me read it again. She's giving you the correct title of her job. Some sanitation workers, in some states and some businesses, they actually have to have certifications and degrees. Sanitation workers get certified, y'all. They're not just the average garbage man or lady. That's why she didn't use the word waste management or garbage. I gave you an example of a sanitation job. The black mold and mildew specialist. They go into these places where people are actually borderline on their deathbed. And they come in there with their suits and the industrial machines. And they're well versed and trained. Okay. So, Leonard, you're still downgrading that lady's job. You're downgrading a sanitation worker. So Natalie at Leonard says, what? Laugh out loud. Leonard Wilson says, yeah, you never put out personal information, even your real name. Natalie at Leonard says, what uniform did she have on? And was she in the waste management truck? He just ran off a profession on Natalie. The woman says she's a sanitation worker. So he just ran off somebody that's minimum bringing in $50,000 a year or more. She also could have been a contractor. So when she says she's a sanitation worker, remember she could be one of the contractors. She could be bidding with certain companies and stuff. And they make bank. Okay. So Natalie at Leonard says, what uniform does she have on? Okay, I already read that one. So Leonard Wilson says, oh, you don't want me. I'm too much responsibility. I didn't say I didn't want you. We're talking about this lady. This is a separate subject. We're talking about the lady that you could have potentially ran off, that told you she was a sanitation worker. It don't matter if she bounced marbles all day. Does she make 50 grand a year or more? She could be playing with volleyballs. You just ran off somebody with some money. That's how I'm looking at it. I wish I would meet me a man that says he was a sanitation worker. I wouldn't care if I met a good man. I wouldn't care if he's a truck driver, sanitation worker. I mean, I would respect his line of work and commend him. These are essential workers. That's a good lady in a good line of work. Leonard Wilson says, wait a minute. Who said she was a sister? Laugh out loud. Oh, wait a minute. Natalie says that Leonard, if you don't mind me asking, how did you meet this young lady? Natalie says, right, ran off a good one. Yeah, Natalie, he did. Leonard Wilson says, wait a minute. Who said she was a sister? Laugh out loud. A sister to me don't mean she black. It just means she's a female or a lady. I don't like that female word, but she's a lady. So Leonard says she picked up garbage. Leonard, no. She says she's a sanitation worker. She didn't say she was a waste management worker. So no, I don't think she's picking up garbage. She says she's a sanitation worker, not a waste management worker. They're two different categories. No, Leonard Wilson, she's not picking up garbage. And even if she is, $50,000 a year or more. Some of the people that pick up garbage, sometimes they make 30 or 35. Just like some of our bus drivers, they're making 38 an hour. Some of them work 60 hours a week. Add that up. And then after 40 hours a week, they're making, if they're double time, almost 80 an hour, time and a half, about maybe 60 an hour, somewhere around there. But I don't know what your goals are, Leonard Wilson, but I would be careful who you're running off. I just would. Yeah, Natalie, yeah, he is a Pisces. They do that shit. Yeah, they're very it's a humor for them. They just they devalue people but don't really mean it from the soul. Pisces men are just, they're hilarious. They do that. It's not from their soul. They just silly with it. Yeah, Pisces man will put you in a certain category in a minute. They sure will. So Leonard Wilson says, I totally understand what you mean, but she was a garbage collector. I had put her down as just to come up with a fancy word for what she did for a living. No, I don't agree that she's a garbage worker. I just think because she didn't say she's waste management. So I don't know her, but I think she does a little bit more than picks up the garbage, to be quite frank. That's just from my perspective because of how she worded her job. Okay, so Leonard Wilson, I think you ran off a good one. I'm not no homosexual, but if I was a homosexual, I would have pulled that one in. Sure would have. But I'm not, I don't date women. But I'm just saying, you ran off a potential good mate. What about her soul? What about other things about her that you never got to know about? Because you're too busy judging her job. So Leonard Wilson says, I totally understand what you mean, but she was a garbage collector. Okay. I wouldn't care if she was a garbage collector. I mean, what's wrong with that? She's not a drug dealer. We need the garbage picked up. You know what, Leonard? I'm getting ready to apply for waste management tomorrow. I'm going to apply to pick up garbage. And I'm going to come back on this channel within 2 months, and I'm going to say that I got a waste management job and I am a garbage collector. And I'm getting ready to add about $40,000 more to my freaking household. Because on here, we're talking about careers and getting more money. So, you know what? They got good benefits too. So, I have some experience. So, maybe they'll start me out at $26 an hour, right? So, that's what I'm going to do. You know what, Leonard Wilson? I'm going to just apply. We got several waste management companies here. I think they need some more black ladies. And I'm getting ready to come on here and say, even me being a garbage worker or a sanitation or waste management worker, yeah, I still can do YouTube. It wouldn't affect my channel. Just like the jobs I already do don't affect my channel. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give me a waste management job so you can talk shit about me too. And what you going to do, Leonard Wilson? I'm going to say I'm a YouTuber. Natalie's my moderator. And I picked up 3,000 pounds of garbage today. That's what the fuck I did. Now, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to apply too. Because you just gave me a good career that's that they don't lay off a lot. Yeah, waste management and sanitation, there's not a lot of laying off. And they need more girls and ladies there. That's what I'm going to do. Then what you going to do, Leonard Wilson? Irene pick up garbage. She ain't shit. Oh my God, the pipe. Oh my God, he's such a Hollywood guy, right? So it's okay. But yeah. First thing you should have told her was I need my garbage picked up when you coming over. I got 5 bags of garbage I need you to pick up. So that's the first thing that should have happened. So anyway, y'all. Let me check to see if there's any more comments. Leonard is something else. Thank you for the crying, laughing faces, Natalie. And you think I'm playing? I'm gonna apply. Because you know what? They have a lot of mobile jobs too. You know, a lot of the administrative staff, they work right from home, y'all. I'll be on here doing a live, typing in the waste management and sanitation computers. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to thank Leonard Wilson. Getting ready to bring me in an extra $50,000 a year because I'm going to be a sanitation worker. And I'm going to be picking up garbage too. I don't never hear the garbage man talking about he being laid off. I never hear that. Do y'all hear it? I hear people from Boeing and other companies talking about they laid off. But I don't never hear the garbage man talking about he or she laid off. So anyway, any more questions, y'all? Oh, Natalie says, are you familiar with a YouTube channel that shares different work from home jobs? I won't list it. You can list it here, Natalie. Go ahead and list it. I promote other channels here. On this channel, I do advertise and promote other channels. So list it. We want to know what it is. Yeah, list it here, Natalie. Because if there's a channel that promotes other jobs and stuff, put it right here. Because this is about how to survive here, right? Right in the United States, part 1. How do we survive here? So we need to know how to survive here. And 2 chicks with a side hustle. She didn't have a uniform on. I didn't know anything about it until she brought it up. So that's the name of the channel. It's 2 chicks with a side hustle. That's actually the channel name. Can you confirm that for me, Natalie, please? Yes. Okay. Yeah, I'll check that out. Yeah, because I would like to. Y'all hear that? It's a channel called 2 Chicks with a Side Hustle. And maybe I can do some reactions on that. Yeah. This is a very practical channel where you can improve your health, life, finances, and relationships. You can do all of that right here with Advanced Insight Channel. Natalie, thank you for asking for permission for that. And that's all part of moderator communication. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, but Natalie says she brings more Advanced Insight here. So Natalie says it's called 2 Chicks with a Side Hustle. It's a YouTube channel, y'all. Also educated us about Rumble and told us about that. Review this live. And Natalie says that this YouTube channel, or their YouTube channel called 2 Chicks with a Side Hustle, they provide links and give details. So please check that channel out. I support other channels here. I advertise products and I support other channels. So please check that out. And thank you. I'm going to be checking that out as well because it coincides with what this video is about. How do you survive here? In the United States, how do you survive here? Part 1. How do you survive here? You got to have some source of income. Residual, regular income. You got to have income in the United States. You will not make it in the United States without money. Okay. Leonard Wilson says, y'all stop. I met her through a mutual friend. I didn't run her off. We're still friends today. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I'm just, proud of the lady. Do you know how long sanitation job, Leonard? How many years she been there? 10 years? Did you ask her how long she been there? Natalie, again, thank you. Leonard Wilson, thank you as well. How long she been at the sanitation job? Tell her about this channel. Oh, no, but then she gonna know how you talked about her, huh? Never mind. She gonna sue you, Leonard. You bring her here. She gonna be like, what the fuck? That Negro was saying, what? Yeah, you can't bring her here. Natalie, you silly. Yeah, he can't bring her here. He talked all this shit about this lady. Leonard's uppity. And you know why? It's nothing wrong with that too. Okay. See, the thing is, you got to have a standard, right? Believe it or not, in certain areas, I'm a little uppity too. It's called having a standard. So you always got to look at Leonard's background, okay? Or anyone's background. So Leonard, let's look at what we know about him. He's been very independent from a young age. He knows his mom. and he was in the music field. Okay, he was in art and music and acting. Okay, so for him, we gotta have empathy for Leonard now. So we gotta go into his mindset. Okay, so he's been out there on the big stages. He plays the instruments. He's an actor. He's a well-dressed man. Leonard's pretty handsome. I went to his photos and researched him. So this ain't no bummy type Negro. So from Leonard's world, that's the garbage lady, right? So it's just like the trolls come here. Oh, especially when my voice was way worse, right? What did they tell me? They said I was on Section 8 with a food card and I was getting welfare. Remember? So, and the reason they do that is because they see that I don't have 1 million subscribers and they hear that you're black. So it's stereotyping, but you got to look at Leonard's background. So, okay, I get it. Musician, actor, garbage lady. That's what category he puts her in. Yeah. And you don't see a lot of musicians and actors dating the garbage lady. You got to be realistic here. Always be realistic. I've never met an actor and they say, my bitch, she pick up trash. So that's so that's all. And that standard has worked for him. So Leonard Wilson says still getting nowhere. Let me see. Leonard Wilson says she couldn't say she was waste management because that's a company within itself. She works for a company called Rumpke. Okay, so I haven't heard of that. I'll have to look that up. Waste management is not just a company; it's a terminology. So it's different. I know what you're saying. There has been waste management companies, but I just read to you the description online. So waste management is just an umbrella. So waste management is just up under its own umbrella. So you got waste management companies, but waste management where I'm at, it's his own title, right? So it could be a waste management type of business without being called that. So sanitation and waste management, they're under their own umbrellas. Okay, so just so you're aware, a lot of these terms and stuff have improved and changed and they mean different things. Back when I was a little girl, waste management just meant the trash company. It's much more now. So Nally says I have literal tears. That's cute. Leonard Wilson says he was always told everything that looks good ain't good. Yeah. Nally says from laughing. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad I made you laugh. And Leonard's making you laugh too. But, he comes, this is from his perspective, I can understand where he's coming from. Most musicians and actors are not dating the garbage lady, right? So I get it. And I don't discourage people from their standards. I just was trying to share more information about what really could be going on. Because she could be a Scorpio. See, that's something I would do to a man. I could own the sanitation company and I could be a CEO of that company. But I would just tell Leonard, when he asked me what I do, I just would say, I work in sanitation. I'm not going to tell him what I am. So just be careful with that. Sometimes they kind of devalue themselves to see what you about too. So Leonard Wilson says, I would give you the utmost respect like I give her. And congratulations if there's one of your goals that you want to meet, invited. Yeah, I'm getting to let me see. I got to work on this embezzlement case. But next week, I'm going to apply and look into jobs at home and sanitation and the waste management company. I'm going to start throwing some garbage on the motherfucking truck. I'm going to record it too. I'm going to record it. And I'm going to say, this is for Leonard. Let's see if he want me now. And he going to tell me, he going to say, I can't be on your channel no more, Miss Irene. You really disappointed me. You are a letdown. He going to tell me you was a YouTuber with a moderator and bitch, you now picking up garbage. He going to say, I can't do this. Miss Irene, may you have a blessed life. Good job, sis. You really fucking up your YouTube image. You know, Leonard gonna be like, I can't be on no stupid bitch's channel. I'm gonna turn him all the fuck off when I do the short. He gonna say, it's not in my league. Leonard Wilson says, I appreciate you. Thanks. See, you started you out on a new career. I'm gonna do it. But soon as I do it, soon as I post some garbage or some shit on here, you're gonna be done with my ass. Yeah, you're done. Because you just ain't that type of man. You like to dress well. Garbage ain't got shit to do with instruments and acting. Yeah, he's a businessman. Yeah, businessmen don't typically date the garbage lady. But I'm getting ready to I'm getting ready to up my game up. Yeah, I need some garbage lady money. So Leonard Wilson said, no, that's one career that you always work, except if there's hurricanes or tornadoes and lightning. When it rains, you'll be out there getting that garbage, sometimes 6 days a week. Oh, no, never mind. I ain't working in no tornado and hurricanes and shit. I ain't picking up. I am not risking my life to pick up nobody's garbage. Okay, so now I'm acting like Leonard. Now I'm too good. Yeah, I'm too good to be in a damn hurricane. They need to take their own damn garbage out. Shit, if it's a hurricane, they better get their ass out there and get their own garbage. Oh, no. I remember the tornadoes in St. Louis, Missouri blew one of my grandmother's restaurant windows out, y'all. I was just crying and sad. Hugged up with James. I was scared to death, y'all. I was in James' lap, like, help me. I was shaking. It blew the whole window out. Sure did. It was repaired pretty quickly. And I mean, back then they had those heavy windows, y'all. So it was strong. I remember that I was a very, very little girl. Sure was. So do y'all got any questions here? Any questions? Any questions, y'all? Oh, y'all pray for Daniel and all my sons. Yeah, I miss Daniel being on these videos and participating. But you know, you can't make people want the life that you want them to have, y'all. People pick the life that they want. Never forget that. So I'm just going to, you can't make your children like your Lord. Children are going to do what they want to do. Pray for me, y'all, with this embezzlement. Hopefully I can win this case. Nally says, I think that's all. You've been wonderful. And the topic again has been or chef's kiss. Yes, thank you so much for that. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. So let me do this one thing before I leave, y'all. Yeah, and like I said, anything y'all get into that's legal, I'll support it. But I'll support it, but the person has to be consistent. Okay? And I don't care who they are, as long as I see they consistent. Like Daniel, he stopped uploading on his channel. I no longer shout his channel out. He's not uploading anymore, y'all. So y'all, please like, share, and subscribe. Leonard Wilson says she's been there for 10 years. That's what kept my attention. I told you, didn't I say 10 years? I knew that before you said the number. What did I say? How long she been there? 10 years. Told you. Because they're normally pretty stable. I mentioned they don't have a high layoff rate. That's why I said 10 years. Leonard Wilson says, of course, I asked her how long she had been there. I need somebody with stability, not someone that leaves a job because they get mad. Ain't got time for that. Natalie says you will be fine and things will flow as should. Thank you so much for the positive support, Natalie. And Leonard says she would be the first one that wants to sue me. Oh, that's cute. You talking about the sanitation worker? She'll want to sue you, Leonard? Okay, Leonard Wilson says, well, I told the truth. I mean, why you gonna sue somebody when they tell the truth? No, she'll find it funny. So Natalie says, my moderator says, like, share, and subscribe. Leonard Wilson says, but it was nothing bad. It just was an experience, how we met. That's all. Yeah, it's okay. I was just teasing with you, Leonard. I know. I gave you my honest perspective. Natalie says, Cash App, $ try today, 123 for the replay. Yes, indeed. Natalie's a natural moderator. She's natural. She sure is. She would be a good promoter, negotiator, manager. Business owner. And of course, Leonard, he comes with all that experience here. So, Leonard says it's not uppity. It's just not settling for anything. Absolutely. And I actually approved of it. Remember, I said you got to have a standard. Thank you, Natalie. So again, I'm going to release this live to the public right away. Let me see, how do I do this here? Okay, I think when you end a live, let me see how this goes. It's giving me a message asking me something here, okay? I'm trying to click it because I'm new at the wrench thing. Because I listed it as standard moderator, whatever that means. So I love y'all. Please like, share, subscribe. Tune in for more right here. So I guess I have to do the wrench every time I come in here. Natalie, take care, sleep well, drink your tea, a little coffee. Yes, I'm going to do that. So when the live ends, the wrench is being removed until the next live. Okay, so that's how it works here. So please subscribe. Tune in for more right here with the Advanced Insight channel. Bye, y'all. Thank you. Bye. Bye, Natalie and Leonard Wilson and everyone. Leonard, I'm just messing with you, man. Why are you taking it so personal? I just want you to have some money and build you a security. That's all. I want the best for you. That's all. Leonard Wilson, you have the right to pick the lady of your choice. And the truth is, if you don't want your lady to be a garbage worker or sanitation worker, you don't have to tolerate that. So Leonard says, I never said that I would not date her. I'm just teasing with you, Leonard. Okay, please like, share, and subscribe. Tune in for more right here with Advanced Insight channel. Thank you. Bye.